Ladies and gentlemen, so rewatched the cutscene a couple of times, actually. And you know, I hate to keep hammering this point in, but it was actually a pretty good cutscene. There's several really good, interesting visual storytelling bits, and the overall... the ideas and themes of it are really legit. The take that was implied in the cutscene was actually solid. To be clear, this cutscene right here. This world is a prison. Oh, I know that feeling, Braven. I pretty much exclusively wear Crocs. So, like, I think it's funny because overall, the biggest reason I don't like the cutscene is that it doesn't fit the rest of Shadowlands at all. Like, it does have one flaw in and of itself. One. And that is the fact that she completely warps the third Lich King. Don't mistake me. With the advantage of thought and processing, she should have won that fight. But she bodies him, right? Just completely rolls over him effortlessly while taunting him. She warps him. And that's not great. I did give a negative for that. Yeah, I think it'd be more accurate to say as Mirror Star, if the rest of Shadowlands fit it. Because the idea of the mirror world, of a flipped concept of the Shadowlands being ripped open to the world, of the barrier. I was actually thinking about it. Why did the jailer break open the barrier between the Shadowlands and the material plane? Why did he do that? What was the benefit of that action to his plans? I was really processing that in the back of my mind as I was rewatching it. Because to get more souls to die more in trying to close the break? Well, but nobody does. So... that, no. No, I'm not joking, Mr. Floyd. It's a real... I'm being quite sincere. It did. Thank you, Lake Javon. It has no relevance to his plot. I'm just going to say that. I've actually spent some time over the last week brushing up on the jailer's plot just to make sure that I know what's going on. And yeah, breaking the barrier has nothing to do with anything. There's only one person it benefits. Us. So that we have an easy route to get to the Shadowlands. Easy route to get to the Shadowlands. So, why? What benefit is there of that? And I'm just... what I'm trying to get at is I am not actually asking you the question, because I already know the answer. The answer is there is none. The answer is the internal inconsistency problem that all of Shadowlands has. The answer is that cutscene was written and sketched out and storyboarded before the jailer existed. I don't buy that, Huthor. Ignoring the obvious, that screams retcon to me. Also, like, if that's true, then he shouldn't have opened the barrier between the two worlds until he had already reached the device in the Shadowlands. I'm just saying. But anyways, let's go ahead and get back to our Earthen. Let's get to some positivity here really quick. Yep, he also needed Anduin for no reason.
Processing. Ah, yes, this one. Glad to see this one wasn't lost.
Can you sense it, Foreman? They awaken stronger than others.
No, exactly, Huthor. Exactly. I hate to keep banging that drum, but the more I've been actually analyzing BFA and the beginning of Shadowlands, the more I think that the original idea was Sylvanas needed to cross over. So that's how she does it. As I said during the actual cutscene, I bet you money that wasn't Torghast yet. That calling that Torghast and making that the jailer's place was actually a retcon.
A conversation begins.
Good to see you're awake. I know you have many questions, and we are here to answer them. I am Dawn, and this is Foreman Ujax. Many things have changed since your slumber began, including our awakening protocol. We are both here to guide you through it. Like many other newly awakened, you have heard a distant yet powerful song thrumming through you, a radiant surge of change. Embrace it.
Let us begin your awakening protocol.
Exactly,
Whenever
Ms.
you're
Maristar.
ready, step on the scanner at the base of the stairs.
I'm sorry to keep banging on this drum, but think about what the Shadowlands has been the whole game. That being an actual physical representation of the dark mirror of Azeroth, and that being, you know, the Shadowlands Icecrown makes absolutely perfect sense. There's tons of other visual storytelling elements in that very cutscene. I jotted down several positives for them, like his color change, the look of shock, his big slow attacks, because he fights completely differently than the second or the first Lich King, for that matter. The way she held the helm, the fact that she actually had to blow a cooldown to shatter the helm, all kinds of little stuff like that. Anyways. Sorry. I obey the Titans. What? Sorry.
By the speaker. This one's diagnostics
Oh,
are...
that's a cool effect.
Different, like all those reborn within the machine.
Chassis stable. Oh, good. That's good to know. Unlike real life, am I right? Proceed to the cognitive scanner in the southern quadrant of the chamber. Good afternoon, Pokemebo. Again, I have issues with how easily she wins, but honestly, Warcraft in general has that problem. I mean, Grom killed a demon lord with an axe in one hit.
Another one impaired with abnormal visions during stasis.
Call them dreams, Ujax. We all experience them, including myself.
Oh, sorry, you asked that earlier, Linarith.
Yes, of course.
Ahem. So if Sylvanas being OP is explained later, shouldn't it technically not be a negative since it's a mystery which is teased? No, because she wasn't stronger, she was warfing. Warfing isn't someone is stronger than the other person. That's silly. Warfing is exactly what it sounds like. It's when you have someone just absolutely body someone else to establish how strong the first person is, right? That is the definition of warfing. The reason it's almost universally a negative narrative trope is because it's almost always done badly. Negative reinforcement can be done well, but if you warf it, then you have done it badly. Make sense? She really does just casually walk over him. Her outmaneuvering him, her being much more agile and being able to whittle him down over time, I'm with that. Her outthinking him, okay, I could buy that. But she just casually... Like he goes for a big, giant slam into the face with a two-handed maul, and she just holds up her hand. So, in the moment, it's still done badly. Now, if it's explained well later, then yes, that would later be a positive, but it would not get rid of the negative because the execution in the moment is still bad. Make sense? It's a very, very old rule I have with her reviews. If they do something bad and turn it into something good, that is a negative and a positive. It does not erase the negative. I can think of a lot of examples of that across fiction, where they've taken something bad and turned it into something good. Enterprise Season 4, excuse me.
For the final scan, you will... Wait, it's reading too many anomalies. I can't stop it.
Do not panic, my friend. Concentrate. Focus on the song within. Let it ring. That energy you felt radiates within all newly awakened.
Anomalies such as that were once deemed flaws.
That may be, but under our new protocol, they are flaws no longer. Come, friend. Let's head to the next room.
Wow, I'm trying so hard not to comment. We'll discuss a lot of this stuff more when we get to War Within, but wow!
Another interruption. You are acknowledged. Begin speaking.
Earthen writing has always been legit. And by always, I mean in War Within. So I guess always is not the word choice I want to use. Earthen writing is consistently legit. There we go.
Only you know your path.
I want to reassure you, you are not flawed. Okay, I'm sorry. For those of you not aware, one of the biggest themes of War Within across the whole expansion is people who are suffering from mental illness of various types. It hits a big gradient, right? If you remember, we've already covered Alzheimer's. So the fact that they open with, "You are not flawed." Oh, this protocol was designed to detect anomalies within the Earthen, anomalies such as the surge you felt. But they are not anomalies. Not anymore.
Come back with new experiences.
Jesus. This is the analysis interface. In order to ensure our primary programming remained intact, these consoles were installed with a series of inquiries to assess the memory matrix of the newly awakened. Although Dawn will encourage you to answer in any way you please, I hope you will answer truthfully.
Watch your step. With Dawn's suggestions, we've modified these consoles to allow for agency.
The past is the past, but whether you embrace it is up to you.
Yeah, I honestly didn't expect to be this much of a thing. I've been planning for about a year, I want to say at this point, to do the Earthen as our Shadowlands character, but damn. 1 second, I need to write something down. Verify your original assigned designation. So what were we originally built to do? A stonebound laborer sworn to craft on the surface. A cog in the machinery of the deep sworn to maintaining the work sites below. A peacekeeper sworn to guard the earthen of the surface. An artisan sworn to expert craftsmanship and immaculate trade. A storm rider sworn to protect the coreway from all threats. An ordinant sworn to fortify, arm, and protect. Or you can omit, or you can say, I do not remember. I think I know my answer. For the Horde Runner. By all accounts, yes, Mr. Floyd. Unfortunately, he was taken out back and shot. But yes. That's always been nonsense, Robostall. Indicate which sector. There's us. There's past us. Which sector you were last allocated to. Gundergaz, the Earthenworks, the Waterworks, the Golemworks, the Stone Vault, Taylock, Ironhall Station. It should be obvious soon, Lenarov. If it isn't, then I have failed you. Are you prepared to uphold your assigned protocol? No. I will choose my own path. In the event of reassignment, what primary function were you calibrated to carry out your assigned protocols? The unfaltering commitment to my assigned protocol, no matter the role. The sturdiness of a strong arm to wield tools or weapons. The devotion to my charge, my people, and my purpose. The proficiency to craftsmanship, and artistry. My primary functions do not define me.
For countless cycles, we Earthen had our fate imposed upon us, never free to choose our own.
Yeah, you get it, Magister.
I have redesigned the final console's purpose to embrace our new path.
Yeah, no, we're going to be a tank and a ret, and a little bit of poking around at Holy. Peacekeeper is what we will be, not what we were supposed to be. The world is yours to explore. What path will you take? I wish to visit far-off realms and kingdoms beyond Khazalgar. I wish to visit other Titan-forged kin around the world. I wish to climb the highest mountain peaks and explore the deepest corners of the world. I will seek out the most expansive libraries, lore repositories, and vaults of knowledge around Azeroth. I'll go to the far places of the world where my craft, arm, or shield is needed to push back the darkness. I would like to learn and meet from the different people and cultures around the world. Yes. All of the above. I think I will also pick to learn from the different people and cultures around the world. Who do you want to become? The first Earthen to explore the known world? The most experienced crafter? The most celebrated awakened? A bulwark of order and a weapon of resolve? I will be the Earthen my people need to be, or whoever I wish to be. Let's keep the theme.
I never saw this protocol as an imposed fate, but a verification of our intended design.
Then perhaps our design should not be intended.
For I have only one definition.
Perhaps.
Me.
The procedural forum awaits you.
Surprisingly large number of players here.
Welcome, my friend.
Who you were, who you are, and who do you want to be? All questions every Earthen from now on will be allowed to ask. Our fate and our purpose is ours to choose.
Goodbye, my friend.
Welcome to the Procedural Forum. Foreman Ujax informs me this chamber once served as our assignment testing facility. With his guidance, we've repurposed the chamber. Earthen are not combat trained by design, so this room serves to prepare newly awakened for the challenges of the unexplored world that lies ahead.
Take time.
With the exception of the Storm Riders, most Earthen were never intended for combat. But we also weren't intended to leave Khazalgar.
To prepare you for the world beyond, you will need to fight.
What's the Mewtwo quote
A chance to converse.
from the first film? If you know it, you know it. If you don't worry about it.
Stories requested.
So that's our very first charged attack. And more or less my first time using one.
Your path led to me.
That's the quote. The circumstances of one's birth is irrelevant. It is what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are.
Meet us in the next chamber.
I knew someone would know what I was referencing.
No one's going anywhere. The bulwark of authorization is on complete lockdown.
Lockdown? What in the name of the machine is going on, Cooldas?
Yeah, for real. What? Of course, sir. Yes, Pillars of Stone. Nobody listens to me.
And somehow, your path led to me.
Combat doesn't come naturally to most Earthen, and yet again you exceed expectations. Your training is exceptionally well timed. It would seem we have an unexpected obstacle ahead. Speaker Koldas can explain further.
Hurry, on to your next adventure.
The Bulwark of Authorization, that's what the chamber was once called. I had been working tirelessly to reconfigure it to its original state, when suddenly the whole blasted chamber started rubbling. A golem manifested out of nowhere and started attacking my machinists. We managed to escape, but the golem locked down the chambers. Dawn seems to think you've got what it takes to deal with it.
That shutting down that golem will shut down the whole purge program.
If you're successful, you will be the first Earthen to ever defy this machine and complete the new protocol.
Not if, when. I have faith in this one.
Well, look at you. I've seen this room shut down 1,000-fold, but never like that.
Yeah, sorry, I defeated him a little bit too quickly, but what he just said is unknown anomaly detected, engaging Awakening Purge program. Anomalous Earthen units will be recalibrated.
Measure twice, cut once.
I've seen that room come to life more times than I care to admit, but that was something else entirely. I cannot help but wonder where that golem came from. It certainly wasn't of Earthen make. Just when I thought I knew everything about this old place, it throws another tool in the cogs. Well, back to work.
Stay safe out there. Keep the gears turning.
After the Awakening protocol like that, I can see why Dawn says you're special. The world is not prepared for an Earthen like you. He claps you on the back. Dawn and the Foreman are waiting for you in the Awakening vestibule. Go on, then. Complete your Awakening protocol and get out of here.
Maintenance today, or repairs tomorrow.
It would seem you are destined for many great things. I had little doubt.
Neither did I. A most efficient display. Well done.
Personal Log 1. Dornagal. It feels like I know this place, but I'm experiencing it for the first time. I don't quite understand it. I've talked to many of my kin, and they've explained as much as they could, but it hasn't helped at all. This is my home, but it doesn't feel that way. I wonder if it ever will. As my days go by, attitudes seem to be changing. My kin can be rigid and stubborn, but there's a warmth to them. I've learned about what led to the Day of Awakening, tribulations that lasted millennia. I've awoken during a shifting age. I wonder what that means for me. Where is my place? Speaker Brinth insists I come up with a name for myself. I have toyed with a few different ones. Aurora? It doesn't quite fit, but it's what I saw before I awoke. I'll never get the beautiful light and the warmth of the voice. Maybe something vibrant, like coral. No, that doesn't quite fit either. I'll keep thinking. I feel less hesitant now. Adjusting to our society and all the rules has proven difficult. As much as I love my kin, I still can't quite understand their adherence to tradition. They say it's what you're supposed to do. Why? When I asked Brinth, she had a different answer. At one point, we served the Titans. But now? Now we choose to serve one another. This has inspired me. My name is Dawn. I had to write this down. It came to me after watching the sunrise over Dornagal. Dawn, the start of a new day, of a new age, the end of darkness and the beginning of something more. This, I feel, represents who I wish to be. I've been helping the foreman quite a bit. He's been teaching about the rigid processes my kin used to experience. Machines don't seem to do well with we awakened. The foreman's language at times can be harsh. I know he doesn't mean it that way. Thank the cogs the caretakers exist. They seem to be a bit more prepared. It takes time to adjust your ways, but I hope the foreman adjusts sooner rather than later. Next week, I start implementing my improvements to the Awakening protocol. I hope they go well. Our awakening shouldn't be frightening. It should feel the same as that song's warm embrace. No matter what happens, I do know this is a step into a new age. One day, Earthen will travel beyond the shores of Khazalgar. But for now, the first step. Our society is changing, but there's no reason it must be all at once.
Another experience to add.
Upon completion of Awakening Protocol, Earthen would leave these halls and venture into the ringing deeps and beyond to their assigned jurisdiction. Their purpose was chosen for them, but not anymore. The fate of our people is for us and us alone to decide. What you do and where you go is up to you.
May your journey be safe.
For the first time in our history, the outside world is ours to explore and experience. An off-island faction known as the Horde came to aid of our kin. Spiritual and mighty, the Honorable Horde has opened their hand to our people. We'll be among the first to go where no Earthen has ever gone, to walk their lands, hear their songs, and learn from their people. If that path calls to you, then I hope you will return to share those experiences and show the Earthen what the world has to offer.
Your recalibrating of the Awakening Protocol has given this Earthen something new, something different. A spark to experience, an impetus to live. I admit, I misjudged your efforts, Dawn.
Actually, yeah, Uthor.
All Earthen deserves something more than what we were bound by, Oozjax, including yourself.
For once, I am inclined to believe that.
I don't think so, Dr. Winter, but then again, I don't know. I haven't even seen those quests yet. The Dragon Isles await.
Heroes of the Horde.
And they can wait longer. We're not there yet.
And you, trust no one.
You got it.
Why, hello. It's like meeting again for the first time.
Copper Regalia?
Return if you wish.
Oh, that was a few, wasn't it? Oh. What all did we just get?
Punches, lucky doos and loot.
Are they sets by chance? Because that'll make this easier. They're not, damn. I mean, obviously we're going to look like this. I'm ready! No.
May your feet find good trails.
Oh, I see the problem. We'll use you for right now. I might come up with another one later, but we'll use that for now. Oh, hold up. I'm not a big fan of it, Atrocis. I showed it off on camera earlier for anybody who was curious, for anybody looking to get into WoW, so they could see what it looks like. I also showed off the other RP add-on I can't remember the name of. I didn't like either of them, personally. Good stuff. Not for me. Feel like I've been lied to. Oh, there he is. I was looking at him.
Seen anything new?
Garketh has been telling me all about the forges from his homeland. Black Croc Foundry, he called it. A fortress of industry. Sounds like a true wonder to behold, or rather, was. He tells me it's now lost. I did not press on what he meant by that. Either way, we've been talking about Orgrimmar's scattered forges for a city as fortified as this, and we're both a bit surprised at the lack of dedicated industrial forge grounds. It's just the thing a canyon city like this is missing, wouldn't you agree? Seaside coolant systems, cliff-carved quarries, a port for trade even. The opportunities to expand are endless. Am I hearing another Orgrimmar overhaul? Because we kind of need it. We've had this Orgrimmar since Kata. Like, actually think about how long ago that was for a second. So, sorry, Czar. Uthor already answered you, so I sort of assumed your question was sufficiently answered.
Is this hello or goodbye? I keep losing track.
Champion, the veil between our world and the Shadowlands has been sundered. The Ebon Blade stands ready. I await you in Orgrimmar. Come, before the icy grasp of death claims all of Azeroth.
As you can see, the sword is actually at the edge of render radius. If we're looking right at it, we can't see it. It's only when we tilt it to the side, the whole thing comes into view. No, Linerith. It's okay, don't worry about it. So, why did the third Lich King not use any magic? He did. If he's not capable since he didn't wield Frostmourne, unrelated. Why not use the whole might of undead soldiers against her? He did. Can Sylvanas teleport to her arrows? I think so. I believe that's all of them. So, someone asked earlier why the Death Knights weren't there at Icecrown. That's actually answered in a short story. We'll see how much of that's answered on camera.
Preparations have been made.
Because here's the Death Knights.
Nazgrim will tell you of the grim fate that has befallen our allies.
Hold up. I'll be right back with you, Darian. Whoever you are. Remember, I'm like 10 minutes old at this point.
What's shaking?
Hang on. I got one last thing to do. Give me a sec. My bad. Yeah. Well, they're usually not there at all, J. Palmer, which should answer your question for you.
Hey,
I just realized I
how
should
you
have done it
doing?
here. Let's just grab 10 grand. That should be enough.
Don't be a stranger.
Yes, I think it was Shadowlands where we had the level squish. It was extremely bugged when it first went in.
Yeah, what do you want?
I do mean extremely bugged. There were some growing pains. Yeah, you think scaling's bad now? Oh. Yeah. Oof. Yeah, we'll go this one.
That's it. I got mouths to feed, pal.
go. Now we can get rid of that. Is that better, J. Palmer? One quick clean up here.
Yeah? What do you
Toss
want?
these in on there. Just get rid of all of that, honestly. Get rid of my Hearthstone. Don't need that. Dump that over there, and we're good.
Keep your ear to the ground.
Oh, that's a nice paladin mount. I like that. I might use that once we get to 50. It's still a thing in older games, but not really newer games. Probably because it's kind of a terrible idea. Dr. Winter. The additional amount of aggravation, hardship, headache, problems, scams, and most importantly of all, server load that having those kind of things provides is not great. Ultima Online is probably the worst about that, but then again, it was also the first. But having people all just kind of stand in a spot and sell something, it's not great for the server. Especially since they usually leave them there 24/7.
Communication in... Oh, sorry. Hello?
These lands have seen much strife, haven't they? I can feel it in the dry earth, in the arid wind, in the cool streams. It speaks of long past histories of upheaval and catastrophe, and recent cries of anguish, pain, and rage. Much pain. But the surface of the water's calm now. The canyon dust rests softly, and the breeze whispers its favor. Whatever discord and turmoil churned here has resolved. The respect shown for the land here is echoed by the harmonic song of the elements.
Journey far.
Translation. The HVA is frickin' done! I'm barely joking. But what it really means has nothing to do with the HVA, but just the H. Remember, back when Garrosh was in charge, and the Dark Shaman, yeah, they caused a mess here. We never really saw the consequences of that, but they caused a mess. It's probably taken pretty much ever since to fix that.
Champion, preparations have been made.
Okay.
Nazgrim will tell you of the grim fate that has befallen our allies.
You know, do you mind if I derail for 3 hours instead of playing Shadowlands? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Let's do it. The new DK starter zone? You mean the, like, 5 seconds of, you died in service of Azeroth, but now you're back. Go do my bidding, the end? There you go, I just showed it to you. I'm not even joking. It really is just, and you're a Death Knight. Like, it's one narrated, it's not even a full cutscene, it's just a camera pan. And it's the third Lich King telling you, hey, stuff's coming. I need you ready for it. And then boom.
Nothing shall stand.
So, let's start with something good. I mentioned this earlier because I was doing some tech tests a few days ago. You see this? Skip the entire Maw. Just puts you right into Oribos. Once you get to Oribos, there's somebody you can talk to skip the MSQ. Once you get right to the Covenants. Once you get to that point, there's somebody you can talk to skip to the end of the entire expansion. Now, this sounds like I'm joking, but to be clear, this is a good thing. In a game that is so alt-friendly and so focused on constantly re-rolling and making new characters, being able to skip cutscenes, because that's what that functionally means you having that option is really, really nice. Now, I'm only giving that one positive because you do still have to do it once, if I'm not mistaken. But that is still a good thing. The fact that it's a gradient is what pushes it to a positive for me. Like, just skipping to the end, Skipping in pieces, thumbs up. Moving on. So here's a dumb cutscene. You like dumb Hollywood cutscenes, right? It's nice to see Akros moving for once. For what it's worth, I do like Bolvar this time around.
I knew she would come one day to seize this power for herself. Instead, she has done the unthinkable. Now, she will come for them all. To finish what she started. And break all who opposed her. Those who held Azeroth together will be in her sights.
Those are Mossworn. No! Wait for it, wait for it!
And when she comes, our end begins.
Oh my god, it's so stupid! I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's so dumb.
The stronghold of the Ebon Blade has moved to Icecrown Citadel. My Deathgate will take us there. High Lord Bolvar Foredragon has recovered from his battle with Sylvanas Windrunner. He awaits us, along with our allies.
By the way, still no jailer. I just feel like pointing out. I'm just saying.
Before her minions abducted key leaders, the Banshee Queen attacked Icecrown. She cut a path to the Frozen Throne and seized the Helm of Domination. Look to the sky and you will see the results of her actions. I have never beheld anything like this. But shattering the Helm also freed Bolvar Foredragon from the burden of being the Lich King. Bolvar believes he knows where the Banshee has taken those she abducted. He awaits you at the Frozen Throne. The leaders of the Alliance and Horde have gathered with him.
Okay. Without hyperbole, if Gen Greymane went to the fridge, opened it, saw that the milk was empty, and then just fell to his knees on the spot, and without a hint of like hyperbole or humor, just said with total sincerity, Sylvanas! I would give this game a plus to story on the spot for that. Hang on, I'm having trouble catching up with the negatives. Give me a second. Because there's already one other negative that I meant to mention earlier. I apologize for kind of skipping over it. Where's the Scourge? You remember the Scourge, right? You know, the absolutely overwhelming tidal wave of death that absolutely bodied multiple kingdoms and peoples and nearly caused the Legion to win. Something that was so terrifying it made the demonic horde look lesser by comparison. Something that they actually did a really good job of showcasing back in Wrath. Now they're gone in a pre-patch event. Like, that was it. And I'm sorry. You remember how big of a freaking deal it was that there must always be a Lich King? Do you know why Bolvar put on that stupid crown? Like, you can't avoid the plot point. It was kind of a big deal that there is a third Lich King. That was a huge deal in Wrath. It was a big deal in Legion. And he's still here, and he still has his connection at the helm. And the whole reason for all of that is because he had to take up that burden to stop the Scourge. Where the hell are the Scourge? The Scourge are gone! Sylvanas! There's a lot of surface thing in Shadowlands. For example, When I first saw that cutscene, him crawling, falling to his knees and crying out Sylvanas, I made fun of it. Someone in chat pushed back against that and was like, well, hang on. Sylvanas actually is behind this. What's the problem here? To which I responded, how does he know that? The only way that makes sense is if you presume that everyone has out-of-character knowledge. That is one of the definitions of surface think when it comes to writing. When you, I'm dead serious. This is a little bit of writing 101. More like 105, but whatever. If you presume the characters all know what the audience does, then you have failed as a writer. Don't do that. Characters know different things, different layers of things, different perspectives of things, different pieces of the puzzle. They don't know everything. We know everything because we're the omniscient third-party jackass who's just kind of peeping Tom on everything, right? There's a lot of scenes in a lot of fiction I've analyzed over a lot of years where things just kind of get a pass because we know why that's happening, but they shouldn't. Oh, you could argue to defend it, J. Palmer. You will fail. You will miserably fail because Shadowlands has this kind of surface thought everywhere. So I guarantee you, the reason he was like, Sylvanas, is specifically because we know it's her. In fact, it's even worse than that because in the cutscene, we're finding out about Sylvanas. The narration, which is Bolvar, is talking about how Sylvanas cracked the thing and now she'll come for everyone. And that's how Greymane knows it's Sylvanas, because Bolvar is narrating to us that it's Sylvanas. That's the logic chain. This is going to be Starfield all over again, isn't it? I'm going to have to explain basic concepts of storytelling, aren't I? Oh my god. Okay, so hang on. I'm gonna have to sit down later and decide how many negatives these things get. Like I said, we didn't even properly finish Shadowlands before we quit. And I mean quit.
The peace remains tenuous. These are troubled times.
No, J. Palmer.
Our people need stability. Alliance and Horde alike. We cannot risk sending Azeroth's leaders on what might well be a suicide mission. Our friends who were abducted would offer the same counsel.
Coward! I would pay any price to see the Banshee impaled upon my glaive.
And apparently you have, from what I understand.
I too want Sylvanas to answer for her crimes. But Lorthamar is right. Anduin wouldn't want us to risk the well-being of the Alliance for his sake.
The Kaldori need you if they are to have any hope of finding peace, High Priestess.
You dare speak to me of peace? After the atrocities your kind inflicted?
She's saying that to Kalia.
Enough! The war is over! We can ill afford to start another! A far more pressing threat is at hand, and we must prepare to face it.
So, okay, couple things. First of all, when Greymane is telling you to chill, holy crap. But second of all, check me for just a second. I need to talk about My Little Pony, okay? Now, hang on, I swear it's relevant. I swear it's relevant. Okay, so there are two characters in My Little Pony in Gen 4, the good one. One of which is named Twilight Sparkle, and the other which is named Spike. Okay, now here's the deal. There is one brain between two of them. Not in lore, I mean the writers. So the writers always write there to be one brain in any scene between the two of them. So he is allowed to be smart, or she is allowed to be smart, but never both. And sometimes neither. Sometimes they both slip on the brain. This is consistent for a huge swath of the show. Like, it's basically a character point, is that there's only one brain, and they just kind of bounce it back and forth between the two of them. No, he's adorable, Dark Winter. I love him. So, what's the relevance? One of the things you're going to notice in Shadowlands is that only one person can have the murder hobo ball. There's one ball of violent, I'm stupid, anger, hatred. And characters are going to kind of bounce it around periodically between scenes. And at the moment, well, we just saw Greymane have it, but he's already passed it over to Tyrande, and she's going to have it for a minute. Actually, they do, J. Palmer. 2 souls and everything. Yeah, one character has war mode enabled, and only the one. Old man yells at Sylvanas. 2 souls, too. Yep, they are 2 people. How? Well, remember, the original 2-headed ogres were... It was an extremely, and I do mean extremely rare chance for them to be born naturally. The overwhelming majority of 2-headed ogres you see were crafted with fel magic. And that should explain everything. Okay, can I talk to any of these people? No. Okay, cool. Illyria, what are you doing here? I'm just curious.
There is much to be done.
We need heroes like you in this dark hour. Where's Torghast? Not that we know what that is yet.
Much has been asked. More will be required.
When Sylvanas shattered the Helm of Domination, she was touched by the power it released. I can sense the echoes of that power, and I know where she's gone. If you wish to rescue your leaders, the Shattered Helm can open a path. It cannot bring you back, however. That you must do on your own. The risk is great, but there's no other way.
When the Banshee shattered the helm, it tore a gaping wound through the veil between our world and the Shadowlands. During my vigil upon the frozen throne, I caught fleeting glimpses into the realms of death. Among them, I saw a place of inescapable darkness. That is where you must go, if you are to save those Sylvanas has taken. Together, we can open the way. Place the shards of domination around the circle of runes. Then the ritual can begin. When the helm rested upon my head, it took all my will to keep its insidious power in check. Many times, I nearly faltered. I could sense a dark presence at the edge of my consciousness. Not Arthas, not Ner'zhul. Something else. It is that very presence I sense lurking beyond the shattered sky above.
So, I'm going to jump in for just a second here. That right there is the very first mention of the jailer ever. Wow. It's worth noting, for the longest time, I had a phrase. If you saw my lore run, I talked about this. I called it the will of the Lich King. Because I pay attention. And if you pay attention to all the things that the various Lich Kings say in Warcraft 3, the Bouncer, Warcraft 3 and Frozen Throne and WoW, there's always this mention of like this kind of malevolent force that is just bound within the helm. That is what Bolvar himself mentioned wrestling against, right? So for the longest time, I called that the essence of the Lich King, and to me it made sense. It's a very cursed artifact. It probably has, as it bounces between people, it probably gets stronger and gets more and more of a personality of its own, right? They took that and they decided to say that that was always the jailer. That is, I believe, the first time that the jailer suddenly gets credit for something. Now, let's talk about retcons, okay? I'm about to say something that is actually legitimately quite controversial, and you're all going to disagree with me on it, and you're all wrong, because retcons are not inherently bad. They're not. They are a tool like any other. We are sick of retcons because we are used to bad retcons, but retcons are not bad. Retcons are just retcons. This is a bad retcon, if I might be so bold. Taking something this established and twisting it in a direction and not doing anything with it, just, hey, there's a bigger, eviler Lich King behind there. No, I'm not with that. Don't worry, we'll have a few more of those. Retroactive continuity. It refers to when something was originally intended to be A, and then later on, after time, it is changed into being B. Now, there's some gray material in between here. For example, sometimes, this actually happens semi-frequently, someone will write A, and they have no idea what it is. They're just putting vague ideas out, right? And then someone later will say, well, you know, here's a possible explanation for A. And so they'll come up with B, so it's not actually a retcon, it's just fleshing out something that was never intended to be fleshed out. Which, by the way, can also be good or bad, depending.
I dare not travel with you, even free of the helm. I fear I would become bound to the will of its true master. But this threat cannot be left unchecked. Therefore you must venture where I cannot.
You realize I'm like 20 minutes old, right?
The dangers you face will be considerable. Alone, you may well be outmatched. To aid in this task, the Knights of the Ebon Blade shall lend you their strength. Darian Mograine has volunteered to fight at your side.
Now this is actually pretty cool.
The Ebon Blade does not fear death, here or in realms beyond.
No, I'm dead serious. This tracks. This lines up perfectly with what happened, you know, since Wrath in Legion, and I think it was in BFA when they made it so allied races can be Death Knights. Like, we have Pandaren Death Knights, we have Goblin Death Knights, we have, I feel like, yeah, there's a Volpera Death Knight back there. It makes perfect sense. Those who died, the third Lich King here went out of his way to grab and offer servitude as part of the Ebon Blade, because he was prepping for this battle. Okay, I'm with you. But to answer Luneruth, obviously, I am worthless, dumb, stupid, and literally Hitler, but for me, this is an inherently bad storytelling trope, and I want to explain why. So, there's some inherent malevolence behind the essence of the Lich King, which is actually this bigger, eviler, more powerful person, okay? So, the first and most obvious problem is the escalation there. Now, obviously, this is going to be done even more later, but even as of right now, it is very clear, based on his dialogue, that he's trying to really talk up this presence, right? He's really talking up this super powerful presence. I dare not travel with you. I would become the will of its true master. This threat cannot be left unchecked. The danger considerable. He's talking up the jailer. We haven't even met the guy yet. Having an essence of the Lich King within the helm not only makes sense, but it has a lot of intrigue and possibility behind it. Having there be a bigger, badder guy who's the Lich King +1 in the background behind it, regardless of all other materials, is not. Oh yeah, he also comes out of absolutely nowhere. This is the first time he's ever been mentioned.
To cross beyond the veil. Where you are going, you may be unable to return. But there is no other course. Death comes to claim Azeroth. It falls to you to defend her.
You know what, though, Mr. Red? You're absolutely right.
Time has come. Take up the Shattered Helm, and we will open the rift.
I was actually racking my brain, trying to think of another example of this where it was done properly. Because I always say it's down to execution, right? Can we think of a situation where someone isn't even mentioned, not even hinted at, until all of a sudden, they're there, and they're behind everything, and it's a good thing? Can we, as a collective, think of a situation where some fiction has pulled it off and actually succeeded at it? I'm not being facetious, this is a real question, because I can't. I have not been able to come up with an example. Palpatine? Nope. See, Palpatine doesn't qualify. but because Palpatine existed prior to Episode 6. Palpatine was mentioned in Episode 4. The Emperor has dissolved the Senate. He is given direct control to the mobs, right? Like that whole thing. So, no. Zoromus also would not count. We knew about Zemus for quite some time, and frankly, Zoromus is just Zemus. So, no. Ganon in Twilight Princess, he was mentioned several times. So we're trying to think of an example of this that actually succeeded. Here's the lineup. The character in question can't even be mentioned, not even hinted at, until all of a sudden, big reveal, they're behind everything. And the idea is to come up with a way where that was a good thing, where they actually stuck the landing on that. Because remember, and I've been paying very careful attention to this review, the jailer hasn't even been hinted at until the dialogue we just heard. Because, yeah, most stories have some kind of build-up that's especially obvious in hindsight. Oh, geez. What do you got, Uthor? I'm ready.
The path opens.
Your courage will be remembered, champion. Aldiel Shalar.
Find those who were taken and bring them home.
I sure hope Toronto doesn't do anything stupid just now.
Rescue the others. The Banshee is mine to kill.
Tyrande, don't do this!
For Ilisar Veranol!
Well,
we cannot lose you to the darkness.
You made it through the rift. Good. I doubt this mission will succeed without you. No sign yet of the High Priestess. Perhaps she charged ahead into the chaos.
Darian? Welcome to the Maw. Of all the many complaints I have about this game, the visuals are not one of them. The Maw is so brilliantly designed. It's horrifying. And yeah, there's Torghast right there. Which is clearly Torghast at this point in time. Oh no, I can't mount in the Maw! Ah! Sorry.
All is not lost.
Not the most ideal of arrivals, but at least we're in one piece. I've not seen any sign of Tyrande. Either she landed elsewhere or continued on without us. We should keep an eye out.
We are eternal.
The chaotic energies of this place have scattered the Ebon Blade. I don't think Azeroth's blessing will reach you here. We will need allies if we're to survive this place. We should find them, and quickly.
The Knights of the Ebon Blade will not falter.
Our knights are strong, but they don't stand much chance scattered against such an opponent. We need to thin the ranks of our foe.
We will see it through to the bitter end.
So, corpses, chunks of, I don't even, it's not organic, which I think one of the things I love about it. I love this too. You see that? That is crystallized soul. Think about that as long as you'd like to.
Fight your way out of here. We will meet you ahead.
Yeah, I can't speak to that. Sorry, Lord Harriman.
Regroup with your fellow knights. We will not be far behind.
No, we'll see Anima later. This is the River of Souls. We'll come back to that. I will admit I do like the visual aesthetic of the Mossworm. Cold, dull, wrought iron, spikes,
We are
and
establishing
ribs.
a forward position. Go. Make sure we hold it.
No, Scion, I would still give that to BFA. No, I'm going to take that back. Warlords. I think Warlords is worse. Then BFA. I've said it before. I don't even think the base idea of Shadowlands had good promise. Now, well, I suppose I could argue myself down on that. Well, yeah, because I was just disagreeing with myself, because if we presume the original idea was to go to the Shadowlands, you know, not the constructed afterlives, the Shadowlands, you know, yeah, I'm kind of with that. Also, I'm still thinking about your example, Uthor. Because the problem is, you talk about Archimonde to kill Jaden, and I'm kind of with you. Not only have demons existed for quite some time, but literally the opening cinematic of Warcraft 3 flat out says the demons are coming back. I don't think that qualifies it for the premise we set up.
Speak your piece.
One of the larger fiends has several of our knights engaged. Is that the guy I just killed?
Tomorrow is another...
Oh, and she's dead. What's really funny is I actually really like the concept of the constructed afterlives.
There's no peace.
For a game that isn't Warcraft.
We must forge our own destiny.
For Warcraft, it just contradicts way too much in way too many directions. I'm with you, Thor, but at the same time, I still feel like it's not as severe as an example. I'll give you it, but I still don't think it really answers the core question. We've been in this place for mere moments and already our forces are depleted. It'll have to do. Take the horn. It can be used to call upon the last of the remaining Ebon Blade to rally.
A shadow. This clarion will signal the Ebon Blade to converge on your foe. Use it wisely.
So here's the first time the game basically forces us to go over the river. Listen to how the sound changes. The music did too. I've heard those theories for a long time, and I put them pretty much in the exact same bundle as the, I can't think of the word. What do Reapers do to people in Mass Effect? I put it in the same general category as indoctrination theory, Scion. It's an interesting idea, but there's too many issues with it, and I don't think it really salvages it all that much, even if it were true, which it obviously isn't. You know, the River Soul's awful. Just awful. You know, that's a good point, Uthor. You're right. Having someone who's behind everything all along and, like, gradienting it a little bit, or bleeding into it, you know, from a previous work, or making it so they're not behind literally everything forever all the time. What are Mossworn? Good question. So, there are two possible fates if you're in the Maw. Fate number 1. Your soul is ground down as fuel and material to create things, usually weapons. That is exactly as horrific as it sounds. As is mentioned several times, as I have brought up several times, none of the things that prevent you, the real fleshy being, from experiencing too much pain exist when you're a soul. You don't have adrenaline to block it out. You can't turn down or deaden nerve cells. You don't pass out from the pain. So it's just suffering until eventually you are erased in such a permanent way that there's nothing left of you. Option number 2, domination magic is put upon you. And domination magic rewrites you so that you agree with it. So, these Mossworn are rewritten. That's the term, actually. They have a big chains motif.
No. We rally up ahead. Go! We have done all we can here.
But souls.
Let's get moving before reinforcements arrive. We are driven by a single purpose.
Yeah, look at all that crystal, by the way. I heard someone once at one point say, you know, how is one soul distended that far? And then I showed them this shot here where they could see all that crystal. At which point they realized that that crystal is not one soul. And yeah, like I said, they've really got a chains motif going on. We'll, I don't think here, but later on we'll show off a little bit better that. I am loath to leave some of our knights behind, but it's obvious we cannot stand against such foes. We must make sure their sacrifices are not in vain.
We must forge our own destiny.
It appears we've escaped our enemy's notice for the moment. We should take the opportunity to scout nearby and for signs of our allies. We will draw less attention alone. The Ebon Blade will hold back, awaiting my signal. Come, let's see what awaits in this hellscape.
The Knights of the Ebon Blade, we are vastly outnumbered. Let's try not to draw unwanted attention.
Oh no! Those crystals.
Clues that point to the whereabouts of our allies.
That's option 1.
Frost magic. Looks like the work of our friend, the Lord Admiral. The conflict seems to move in this direction. We should follow the trail before it grows cold.
I actually hope most of you cannot picture what it feels like. I want you to imagine that you're going about your everyday life, and then all of a sudden, having done nothing wrong, just all of a sudden, you are in the worst place you can imagine. In screaming torment, terrified in this dark, abyssal landscape, where cruel and malevolent entities do everything in their power to torment you or convert you. Yeah, this is hell. This is the closest thing to hell we will ever see in this setting. Yeah, this terrified soul just said, why? What did I do to deserve this? Now that is Stygia. We'll talk about that later.
More of Lady Proudmoore's handiwork. It would be unwise to break the enchantment. Let's move along.
I will give Shadowlands this. It goes hard pretty early.
The Lord Admiral is truly formidable. We've bested one of these monstrosities. Hold! What's that up ahead? Up ahead! It's Lady Proudmoore!
When do I get that spell?
Looks like we've secured the Lord Admiral. I'll signal the Ebon Blade to advance.
Yeah,
Thank the light you found us.
I'm with Breakfast Sampler. The Bastion is not exactly a great place, but I'll take Bastion over the frickin' Maw. So, bit of visual storytelling. This actually is a little indicative, although they changed their minds about it later. So we've got this crude, craggy rock, right? But the rock itself is kind of built up around this, what I would normally call substructure, like the rebar inside of concrete, right? But this looks weird and off for rebar. And it's got kind of, like, it's not quite organic, but it really does look organic despite very much not being organic. It just creates this, I don't even have a good word for it, this look for the place. Yeah, very uncanny. That's a good word for it. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Of all the things Shadowlands does wrong, its visual design is not one of them.
The time for dreaming is over.
Here's the light. I'd almost given up hope. Is this all that remains of your forces?
I know what must be.
It's a relief to see friendly faces again. But we have little time for pleasantries. Thrall is wounded, and we're being hunted by the denizens of the realm. We must seek shelter at once. Come, I believe I know of a place.
Be careful who you trust. We can't stay here. Can you walk, Thrall?
I will manage. Thank you for coming to my aid, Jaina.
Something's flying at us from above.
I like that.
They found us. Be ready.
Struggle all you like, mortals. You cannot escape your fate.
No, that's not Nathanos. Let's get that out of the way. Listen, the Sethrak are amazing, awesome, and fantastic.
Will be eternal.
So naturally, we can't have them as a playable.
I'm getting us out of here. I left some mere images behind to keep them distracted. The illusion won't hold for long. Hurry! The way forward will not be easy.
There's a cave not far from here. If we hurry, we can seek refuge. Those fiends will give chase if they spot us. Be prepared for a fight.
The Alliance will endure. A single spark can set the world aflame. There's a cave just around the bend. With any luck, we can reach it before they notice.
Let's hope so. Our captors won't be pleased you managed to slip past them again.
You will not evade our grasp, mortals.
Well, there goes our luck.
Knights, secure the cave! We'll hold off these fiends!
So much for remaining unnoticed. Let's hurry.
What did Thrall mean by slip past them again? I've escaped before.
Indeed. I've broken free countless times, only to end up back in a cage. I've hidden inside this cave before. We can't stay long, but it should buy us a little time.
Another ambush! Bring them down!
I don't know, Niffin do sound kind of boring.
Lord Admiral, before we found you, did you see any sign of the Night Warrior?
Tyrande, here? No, I have not.
She leapt into the rift just ahead of us. She vowed to find Sylvanas Windrunner, at any cost.
That is troubling. An ancient ritual infused her with incredible power.
Her dick.
It may be growing beyond her ability.
It's beyond her ability to contain it.
Your cell awaits, mage. The jailer has plans for you.
Hey, there's his name.
I've had enough of your
First time, right there.
fiend.
There is nowhere to run.
Oh god, you're right, Uthor. Speaking of which, negative to story, unnecessary and badly written time dilation.
These allies of yours are insignificant. You will all end up in chains. It is useless.
Not if we end you, but...
In here! We should be safe enough here for the moment. When you first arrived, I wasn't sure if you were even real, or if you were just another illusion meant to torment us. I was beginning to lose hope that I'd see anyone from our world again.
Okay, so as much as I've been taking a baseball bat to this with the negatives, which are just kind of slowly growing over there, can I just say from a purely gameplay perspective, this is actually a pretty solid intro. Like, this is right up there with the Warlord's intro, and from a purely mechanical perspective, it's probably better than the Warlord's intro.
A long road lies before us.
Rest here while you can. I will tell you what I know.
I will never forget.
Hey, we can skip to Oribos again.
Control your power, or it will control you.
Anduin insists our allies would come for us. I confess I begin to doubt him. I'm sure you have many questions. I'll do what I can to provide answers, but I'm afraid even after weeks? Longer? Time loses all place in such places of darkness. Yep, it's been weeks in the last couple of hours. A little math will explain why that's stupid, and why that's a negative, but again, it sounds like the Banished One's shtick. Big, shocking stuff, needless thing to pad out the numbers for no gosh darned reason. What is that visual effect? Do you see that? Look at her staff. Do you see that? What in the world? It's up close, too. Look at that. It's more obvious when I zoomed out. What is that effect? Okay, look at the crystal. Do you see the yellow outline? That's a yellow outline because it's part of her. So if I pan the camera up, the yellow outline encompasses the crystal. But if I pan down, the yellow outline goes away. It's not being rendered. And I can pan all the way down, so it's getting rid of some of it even on the staff itself. Do you see that? There's a really obvious line there where it's being rendered. This is a good time as any to talk about lack of polish. If there is one thing that consistently bothered me about Shadowlands, it is the lack of polish. Tiny little things like that, that honestly most people probably would never even notice, that bug the hell out of me. There's a lot of that. Everywhere. When Pax and I were going through this, I just kept noticing weird little glitches or awkward things like that, or graphics not rendered correctly, or parts where you could see through the terrain, or... Yeah, exactly. It was the rock in the shoe. That's exactly how it was. It was just this constant irritation the whole way through of... What? So,
we all have our ghosts.
Tell me about this place.
Who you trust. Very well. Where to begin? Denizens call this realm the Maw. From what I have gathered, it was intended as a prison for the most foul, irredeemable souls that ever existed.
Something has changed. Pure, noble souls are being held captive here as well. They cry out in torment.
Indeed. And one of their tormentors, and ours, is Sylvanas Windrunner. It seems she has made a
There he is.
ally. The Shades whisper of someone called the Jade.
There's his nipple. Enjoy. Why does he have nipples? Also, real quick, I just gotta say this really quick. He looks dumb. I'm going to pretend that didn't happen for 5 seconds so I can at least finish my sentence before I completely lose my mind. He looks dumb. I have always thought, since the very first time I ever saw him, that he looks dumb. I have never found his this particular appearance of his engaging. Now, I'm going to spoil something for you. Later, he gets a different appearance. According to behind the scenes, and I have looked this up, they crafted that appearance and his final appearance at the same time. His final appearance, well, I mean, it's better, but it really is, and I do mean this, it really is the Lich King 2.0. Now, even if there's some logic or reason behind that, it's kind of boring, but I would say it looks better than Baldy McBaldface, which is what we just saw. Yeah, he literally just looks like another Mossworn, which, okay. Like, I don't have much to add to that, really. Unfortunately, I don't think we ever fight him in his boring form. Do we see anything here, maybe? Nope, that's just her. There's Mossworn Sylvanas, by the way. While we're on the subject. Hey, who's this guy? Anyways, I don't know, I could dissect the problems with him, but really, he just looks... absent, I think is the word I want to use there. I had to really think about that for a second. He looks like he doesn't have much design to him. Now, you know me. I happen to be rather fond of Warcraft's visual designs. A lot. Frankly, I think we look cool. This Earthen, with like the little frickin' tips coming out, where you can see where the wires that are our beard have poked out. And we have gemstones coming out of us. And there's runes carved into our skin. But, like, the jailer? I don't even know how to describe. I want to reach out at some point to someone like Yura or Eva, one of my trained artists, and just be like, explain to me why the jailer looks like crap. Like, actually sit down and give me a breakdown of why the jailer looks like crap. Because he looks like crap. It's worth noting that this was like the 4th or 5th appearance they showed for him. And if I ever needed more evidence that the jailer was such a late addition to this narrative, check this out. When he was first announced, he looked different. When he was showcased the second time, he looked different again. His final appearance, we didn't see until, oh God, I think the last real announcement, because you notice he wasn't in the opening cinematic, and he wasn't in any of the intro stuff. The first time we ever saw him was right there, during that showcasing we just did. Yeah, exactly. The original version from the first trailer was the Primus, which, I don't think I could show you. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. That's not who we just saw. That's just the frickin' Primus. And then his second iteration was different as well. I might not be able to find a good picture of this. Let me see if I can find this really quick. No, I think I know where I can find it. I know where I can find it. Give me a sec. Because I want to make this point clearly. There it is. Right here. This was his second appearance. Still different, by the way. And, I mean, what's funny is his first appearance looks like the Primus, and his second appearance looks like Denathrius. You can't tell me that's a coincidence. I don't think the Banished one had that level of control over the art department. Again, I'll tell you what happened. He was so last ditch. He was so late of an addition. God, he's even got the ears. He's got bad ears. That there was so little coordination in the office. Remember, this is officially the worst of the worst. Shadowlands launch is when the Blizzard offices were on fire. All the crap we've been talking about BFA was fully at full tilt during the development of Shadowlands launch content, 9.0. So the offices were on fire. Nobody was coordinating properly. Nobody knew what the hell was going on. People running around with like chickens with their head cut off. People working at home without the infrastructure necessary to work at home. Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, the fire had reached the curtains. And then COVID hit. Exactly. Now, to give you a little bit of perspective... Give me a sec. Because I want you to see this. I want you to get a good shot of this jackass. Here we go. This is a really good picture of him. I'm just going to do this really quick. We're just going to pull this up. Like a so. So this is the finalized design. Scooch this down so you can actually see it. God, he's tall. Everything about that screams boring to me. So, okay, let's actually take it in for a second. First of all, what is going on with his shoulders and neck? Just gonna move on past that. He's got the, like, what? I have no idea what's going on with his helmet. I actually legitimately don't know what's going on with his helmet. He screams asymmetry. He loves the asymmetry. Yeah, you notice how his face is very boring. He looks like a guy. He's got runes carved all over him, which actually is a story point. He's got the gaping hole in his chest. We actually won't find out about that till later. That's the only part of him I would believe is designed, because he is literally missing something there. He's wearing pants. Just pants. Hang on. His legs are wrong, too, now that I'm really looking at it. He is barefoot, of course. Naturally, he has the claws going on for his toes. Yeah, his silhouette is very plain. His proportions are wrong, and his color scheme is awful. Let me show off something. Let me make this comparison point really quick here. Look at his color scheme for a second. And then look at this color scheme instead. I know I can't zoom it in all that much. This is the color scheme of the Mossworn. I like this color scheme. It's very smart. It's this kind of cold... It looks death. I don't know how else to put it. It looks like death. It's like this dull, burnished iron with then like the kind of dark black highlights of silver. It never hits all the way black, and it never hits all the way white. It's just this wonderful grayscale, but it's got quite a few gradients of that. And a lot of the Mossworn have a similar thing, like this guy right here. Check this out. Okay, he's a little bit brighter, but you get the same overall motif. Yeah, it's very corpse-like. It helps to have that kind of look. It kind of makes it look a little bit more like bone. The Painsmith? Where's the Painsmith? Where's the Painsmith? Where's the Painsmith? Oh, there he is, there he is. There you go. This right here, yeah, this is death. It's the Death Star. Oh my god, it's the Death Star! No, but here's the Painsmith. Now, he's actually got some honest-to-goodness blue, but you get the overall idea once again. Same overall motif. The Jailer doesn't have that for some reason. The Jailer, they decided to bring in brown. He's got a little bit of the silver in his skin, the blue, which is a nice contrast, but then he doesn't have the right type of metal, and his color scheme is overwhelmingly brown. He looks like rust. I know that he's a prisoner, but I kind of don't care. At the end of the day, it looks like he is something who's rushed. That's my extremely amateur opinion of the finalized look of Zoval. I really do think that if they just went with the Primus look for him, it would be a lot better. You know why? Hang on a sec. Let me show you something. Give me a sec, give me a sec. Oh yeah, and then they added the nipples. Why did he have the nipples? Now, there's some asteriskiness about the image I'm about to show you. And some people have debated its validity, and there's all kinds of stuff. But I just want to get across an idea. Is that okay? Is that cool? Because obviously there was his initial trailer shot, but let me show you a little bit of a better image of his initial trailer shot from a concept art. Right here. This. Now, first of all, looks better immediately. Instantly. Blue, white, steel, dark gray. Yes, color is better. Chains work with the motif. He's got a huge chain motif. He kind of vaguely looks connected to the Valkyr. Yeah, he looks like a freaking deity. The beard helps. The flowing nature of his clothing helps. Doesn't have the shape problem. That looks awesome. Also looks more ancient, that's true. But hang on, there's one other quiet thing that some of you probably haven't even processed why this looks better. The reason why is this is based off of the Necromancer model from Warcraft 3. It's not a one-to-one, it's definitely an interpretation, but you can see the similarities if you put yourself back and think about it. And all of a sudden, that just fits, doesn't it? Now, for those of you who've played this game, you might be like, hold up. If he looks kind of based on the Necromancer... Yeah, so I'm going to kind of spoil something slightly. Not that anybody cares at this point. We're just going to replace this image on the fly. This is an image of a character known as the Primus. Don't worry about who that is. That doesn't matter right now. Notice anything about his visual design? This is why people have had the theory that Scion mentioned earlier. That this guy is actually the guy behind everything. Now, it actually does make sense for someone who looks like a necromancer to be in charge of Maldraxxus for reasons I will not go into right now. But that, yeah, that's just straight up a high-res version of a Warcraft 3 necromancer. Still a better look for the jailer than what we got. Oh god, you're right. You're absolutely right, Blade Javal. Ah, it really would. Forgive me for sitting here and hammering this point in for a while. But not only do I think it's important to really establish my point here, but I think this legitimately deserves negatives. Because let's actually sit and think about this for a second. First of all, you want your villains to look good. They don't have to look cool, but they have to look memorable. There has to be something about your villains that catches you. When you think about a final boss, you want to think about someone who looks like a giant demon lord with burning shoulders. When you think about a final boss, you want to think about this armored knight with flowing fur and the iconic look of death and Frostmourne. When you think of a final boss, this is going to be a harder one because he doesn't actually show up properly. You want to think of a giant death dragon who is literally erupting from flame just to look at him. There's a necessity to make your final villain look good in one way or another. There's lots of ways to do it. There's lots of approaches. There's lots of philosophy in how to make your final boss pop. But that's the thing, isn't it, Blade Javal? And that's why I keep focusing on this. I mean, yeah, sure, we could just have... What's up? I'm the back with a chair! I would watch Ragnaros WWF, I'm just saying. Who was the final boss of WoW Vanilla? Kel'Thuzad. Which is he's not even friggin' here, so there you go. To really make the point, as much as I had issues with BFA, you know what I didn't have issues with? This guy. This isn't even a good representation of what he looked like. You remember what that looked like. Here's another excellent example of one. After fighting the Burning Legion and all these fell and iconic, you know, molten, demonic, green, Borg-looking things like this and this and this and this, at the end we fought this, but it worked so well. It was so perfect, and it was so iconic for what we were looking for. Yeah, this is visual storytelling. The jailer does not look like the final boss. He is. Just gonna tell you right now, he is actually the final boss. He is behind everything. His dick is so big. I haven't even gotten out of the intro yet. Oh, you missed it, Evo. You missed it. Please watch the VOD at some point. Because I want your opinion on something. He does look better when he is the final boss. You know what? Yeah, actually, I was just thinking about if I should do that or not. Because this isn't even the final boss. And yet, that's still more final boss material than he is. Although, if we want to look at the coolest looking character in here, I would go with that guy. God, I love the Arabians. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, that's right. He's also the final... Lunaruth is quite correct. He's not the final boss of Shadowlands. He's the final boss of Warcraft. Remember, and this is not a joke, canonically, the Burning Legion was something he engineered for his purposes. Sorry, Jay Palmer. Sorry. I have nothing else to add. I apologize. Did not occur to me that it was a spoiler. Okay. Go play War Within, Jay Palmer. Christ. Get with the program. God. Okay. That's right. I need to focus on the positives. Done. Okay. So the jailer sucks. But hang on. I know I feel like I know it really does feel like I'm taking a baseball bat to this game, and I want to be very clear, okay? It's because I frickin' am, all right? So I'm going to have one more negative of this, and I mean this, okay? Now, there are a lot of ways to establish your main villain. There are. We have seen lots of different ways over the years of exactly how it is you could go ahead and introduce your primary villain to the audience. What do you think of the method we just saw? Really think about the sequence of events, okay? Go through it in order. So, you watch the cinematic cutscene. You talk to Darian. He takes you to there. We see a dumb cutscene, which I have to give negatives for later. And then, okay, we must go into the maw. Tyranda's stupid. Okay, cool. We land. Some cool stuff happens. You know, we have the initial, you know, impetus and pacing and awesome. I will give it that. Pacing, yes, I'll give you that. So, pacing, yep. And then it's like, okay, now we have to go and talk. And then we're like, Jaina, what's going on? She's like, I've been here for years. She says weeks, but whatever. And it's like, oh my God, it's been hours. I've been here for weeks. Okay. Listen, I need to tell you about someone. There's someone here they all serve. They call him the Jailer, and there's a hologram. That's how you introduce your main villain. Oh, time is different. Oh, that makes everything make less sense. Okay. Moving on. She keeps offering for me to skip. She keeps... Do you want to skip this stuff? Yes! Yes, I do! Damn it. Stop offering me.
The Jailer rules this realm. We know little about him, but it's clear he has taken a special interest in us. He has personally overseen our treatment here.
We have endured countless torments.
Hey, it's him again.
Times it felt as if we were being tested.
Check it out.
For what purpose, I cannot say.
There they are. Check it out.
Whatever this Jailer and the Banshee are planning, it won't end well. For any of us.
Why? Also, I know, but I like the idea that Jaina is so familiar with him that she could tell he has nipples and drew them on him. Just you know. What is wrong with his neck? He has an Elazon neck. Look at his neck. Like, no, really. Process where his shoulders end, and then it goes up, like, a foot or two, and then his neck starts. Oh, yeah, sorry. Hang on, let's see that giant dick. Oh, yeah! All right, No, his body shape is wrong.
I caught glimpses of Bane and Anduin during my attempts to break free. They live. That's all I know for certain. But I have found no means of leaving them all. I can only manage to teleport short distances. This nightmare feels inescapable.
Countless souls are now pouring into this realm. Some have been here for untold ages. Perhaps one of them knows a way out.
I can scarcely imagine the horrors such spirits have endured. I fear there's nothing left of them to save. They manifest as malevolent shades that wander the darkness. I doubt they'd willingly help us.
Knights of the Ebon Blade have ways to compel the dead to speak. If we seize one of them, we can extract its secrets.
Oh yeah, one last tidbit of irritating. That outfit, that's the outfit he chose for himself. We know this because we see the moment of his banishment, and all he's wearing is the pants and nothing else when he's banished. So he decided he needed all the rest of that crap. I suppose I can't avoid it anymore. I have to say thank you to Scion for giving me way too much money. And increasing the queue size. So that's going towards Silent Hill to R. Little War, Pharaoh Dynasties. And Warhammer... Rogue Trader. Rogue Trader. I didn't even know there was a DLC. I'm gonna have to up the price on that. He was behind the edge before you were even born. Let's see. What's it called? Lex Imperialis. I don't see it. Well, there's Void Shadows. I see that. And a lot of blood, apparently. No, my prices have raised sufficiently that one person shouldn't be able to fund anything, even if they donate way, way too much. Glove, obviously. Yes, I did, Sean. Sorry. Add DLC. I'll just make a note there to check the DLCs later off camera. Edgelord. The turboest of all edgelords. Okay, hang on. I need to pull up a calculator. If someone donates $1 billion, then it's probably a scam. Or worse, Elon Musk. That is 5 solid minutes of bowing. Just straight up. I need a 5-minute song. So anybody watching the VOD, skip forward about 5 minutes here. Let's see, what do we got that's 5 minutes long? What's this? I like that song, but you wouldn't. The Jailer's theme. Does he have a theme? Like, logically speaking, he should have a theme, right? There we go. That'll do. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, you know what I could do? So I'm going to be here a minute. I can pull up chat. On my phone. I like how I open it up, even when I'm streaming, and it immediately goes to some other random person's stream. Thanks, Twitch. Appreciate you. Funny comments lately? Well, let's check the comments right now while I'm doing this. Let's see. You're Hitler. You're dumb. You're stupid. This person said great stream. This person is demanding to know the in-depth lore of Dolly and Dot. Okay. So, let's see. In-depth lore of Dolly and Dot. It's a good thing I have strong stomach, jeez. I actually do plank, or at least I used to, semi-frequently. I had to stop because it was actually causing me medical issues, go figure. Anyways. So, Dolly and Dot are my best friends. They carry me through the dunes of sand. They like to eat... okay, we're done. Why did prices go up so much? Well, they actually didn't go up all that much, honestly. So, for those of you not aware, the prices... how much I charge per hour is a constantly changing variable. Maybe constantly is too exaggerative, but every few months I take a look at how fast runs are getting funded versus how fast runs are getting run. The goal is always to keep that relatively straight. In other words, we run as many games as we fund. That's overall the goal. Technically, running a little bit more than we fund is the goal, but that's neither here nor there. We were still funding more than we ran. It's worth noting that not a lot of people know this, but it's not actually supposed to be a long-term situation where I am streaming 7 days a week, 8 hours a day, because that was supposed to be a temporary thing which we started about 4 years ago in order to try and get caught up. So, prices change and adjust in order to try and get that through line on the spreadsheet exactly where it should be in order to allow for runs to happen, but not for the queue to just get bigger and bigger and bigger. The overall goal is for there to functionally be no queue, or for there to be a very, very, very small queue. For every reason. Like psychologically, economically, in terms of options, in terms of operative. Because, and I can explain this very, very easily. Let's assume for a moment right now, because I'm not sure, I haven't checked the numbers, but let's assume just now Scion just funded Silent Hill 2, okay? Boom, it's funded. Well, he gets to wait like a couple of months until we finally get to that game. That doesn't feel great, right? I mean, 2 months isn't that bad, actually, but you get the point. The goal is for that wait period between success and resultant to be relatively shorter. For the longest time, that time has been in the months or years range because of how long it's taken to get through the queue. So that's why we want the queue. It's one of the many reasons why we want the queue shorter, and why adjusting the pricing is pretty much the only metric I have there. I'm kind of at the point in my life where I physically can't stream anymore. The only things I do in my life right now that are not streaming is spending time with my friends and family, eating, and sleeping. That's my life. I'm not trying to sound negative. I'm not trying to be like, oh, my life sucks or whatever. I actually have a pretty decent life, all things considered. But I would kind of like to have time to do something other than streaming. So thank you very, very much, Scion, as always, for your support. Please never do that again. Thank you very, very much. Now let me pop my back. Oh, hang on. Ugh, there we go. Okay. I have a headache now. All right. No, J. Palmer. Oh, and someone asked earlier. No, that's not the highest donation I've gotten in one bundle. So, let's get through the stupid intro, shall we?
What would you ask the daughter
Stop asking me to skip!
Control your power.
$3,000 is the biggest individual donation I've ever gotten. I need to recover after that battle. Thrall could use rest too. Well, maybe while we rest, you and Mogren can seek answers.
The Alliance will endure.
Okay.
We know much.
If these souls have information they need, we will take it from them. Even after being shattered by the Banshee, the helm fragment given to you by Bolvar holds the power of domination. What the hell is that? You haven't even mentioned that yet. With it, we should be able to take control of the spirits long enough to find out what they know. They will need to be sufficiently weakened before we can break them. I'm confident you're more than capable of that task.
We are eternal.
In fairness, I forgot about the Tuesday thing. I did a little math yesterday. Overall, we're about a week behind, literally just because of the Tuesday maintenances. That is that much of an impediment. Other than that, we're actually pretty well on target, I would say.
Harness you. Use the helm while it's weakened.
Working on it.
No.
Well, we do have the locked and waiting concept, Scion. But for all intents and purposes, that's just the queue. I actually pulled a couple of things out of the locked and waiting recently and put them into the queue.
At last, the true.
I'm also probably going to stop doing thank you streams, like, ever again. We've done 2 batches of those in the last 4 years.
Agony, eternal despair. Agony.
Well, let's say, J. Palmer, you're awesome. I know, shocking, but bear with me. And let's say you're like, hey, as you know, as recognition for all the awesome stuff I've done, could you stream such and such just for me? And I say, I got you, fam. That's a thank you stream.
Torment, oblivion.
So, for the thank you streams, we did, in no particular order. Hang on. Fallout 1, Fallout 2, Mist, Paradise Killer was one of those. The Quest for Glory series was one of those. Once Upon a Gesture was one of those. The entire Devil May Cry series was one of those. Chaos Gate Demon Hunter was one of those. And I forget what else. There were several. We've done several thank you streams. Several bundles of them.
There's no peace.
Useless. These souls are too fragmented to provide us with anything. Wait, what's that?
We'll see it through.
Over there. No telling how many souls are writhing together in that amalgam. With any luck, one of them might be coherent enough to give us answers.
A shadow. This target poses a considerable threat. I will signal the Ebon Blade for assistance once we engage it.
Okay. Oh wow, Scion. That was a minute ago.
You cannot find me. I will. You cannot find me. Obey.
Harness your hate. Make it useful.
Find enough mouths, and one of them is bound to speak. Let's find out if... Let's bring this thing to the cave and find out what it knows.
We will see it through.
My instincts were correct. Whatever dark magic binds these souls together also keeps them more or less coherent. It'll take time, but we'll find out what this thing knows. My interrogation will require the use of the helm. Rest assured, I will return it to your care.
The knight, you're coming with us!
I mean, between Horizon and X, those are the last few Assassin's Creeds. Ace Combat's left to review, aren't they? Because we're not doing the PS1 ones. Might as well finish the set. Not that I have any investment in that, to be honest with you.
Speak, fiend!
No hope, no mercy.
Hey, Ramble.
I will do what I can.
Seems your search was a success. Enough rest. There's much to be done.
I know what must be done.
Anduin is being kept in a place the Shades call the Tremaculum. It's not far, but the way is perilous. I have tried more than once to free him from his captors, but the forces holding him are too great for me to handle alone. I'm counting on your presence to tip the scales.
A single spark can set the world aflame. Once we find Anduin, my staff will serve as an anchor for me to teleport us back to safety. All set. Let's get moving.
So I'm using a counter. I'm curious how many scenes the jailer's in. I'm counting the holograms we just saw. So we're up to 1 so far. I mean, the Naga should be added to the game. It's a neutral race. But still. Game, I'm gonna need you to... Oh no. Hang on. It's okay, we finally reviewed it. So we finally got back to it. Took a minute. Good question, Litter. They haven't followed through on it, so who knows? Seriously, we've had like 2 Naga presences outside of that. And then Ashara shows up during War Within and does a dance like routine thing. And is the final boss. And is playable at the same time. Nice place, huh? I think Yura was trying to state that I'm actually quite boring, Czar. I mean, have you seen other streamers? Whoa! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god, a third time! It's actually the 7th time! I've seen streamers, even of people that I actually like, who do that. It's really frustrating. They overreact to absolutely everything. Oh, I shout just as much, Yura. I'm just better at controlling my volume now. Oh my god, Jay Palmer! I'm the only one!
This is the Tremaculum. Here, souls are tormented, twisted into wretched shades.
Last I saw Anduin, they were taking him to the tower above. We need to find a way up there.
Yeah, let's effing go! Five? Wow, Scion.
Here.
Not that it surprises me.
There's Anduin.
Sylvanas, what does she want with him?
Hold here.
Yeah.
We cannot let the world fall to darkness.
You won't succeed.
Such a narrow vision. You disappoint me. No matter. We will find what we seek. In another.
Anduin! How badly are you hurt?
I will live. I'm relieved you're all safe.
These bonds are too strong to break by force. We must find a way to free him.
Why are you both looking at me? Aren't you a raid boss, Jaina?
Greetings.
Remember, I'm not even a character yet, although I'm about to be the chosen one. I knew in my heart the light wouldn't fail us. Your presence here is the proof.
Never lose hope. Victory in the light.
Sylvanas thinks us broken. She believes she's already run. We will show her how mistaken she is. First, I will need your help. Ramirez! Kill the devil! And free all the souls from hell. Okay. My imprisonment has been overseen by a creature they call the Afflictor.
Be vigilant. Victory in the light.
I have seen many souls brought here during my detention. The jailer seems to want to break them or twist them into his service, of course. No soul deserves such a fate. The Mossworn hold keys to their chains. Free as many as you can, and we'll get them away from here.
Never lose hope.
In a terrible daily. I mean, weekly? Weekly. We can't free him conventionally. We literally can't. Not even a joke. Wait, more vampire counts? Holy crap. Gosh, huh? That sounds fun. He's got to be better than the jailer, right? How would I fix the jailer? Believe it or not, I have a pre-baked answer because we've thought about it quite a bit. First, so, yeah, okay, the easy answer is And he's gone.
Find the cave on the other side of the chasm. Our allies will protect you there.
I mean, seriously, just make Sylvanas the villain. It really is the correct choice. But without getting rid of him, make him the servant of Sylvanas. No, okay, for real. Make him a robot. And I know what you're thinking, but no, really. Make him a damned robot. Make him a very cold, detached, like that kind of completely unfeeling villainy, right? Have a moment where the jailer is torturing someone, and they're screaming for mercy, and his actual response is just like a tilted head of, but mercy would be inefficient. Actually, yeah, kind of like the Constellar. Or, yeah, something akin to the Terminator. There's just an emptiness to him, and to his presentation. I don't know if I'd make him a...
Forces are positioned nearby. They will defend you.
I don't know if I'd make him Titan or Titan related, although that is a good option, actually, now that I'm thinking about that for a second. Yeah, but I need all of them. There's no malice there. You have what you want, let them go. But I need all of them. Now, there's an interesting concept. Hang on, hang on. G. Palmer mentioned an interesting idea. What if the jailer is a piece of Argus? We could tie in several threads here, if that's true. So we destroy Argus, we kill Argus, back in Legion. Argus's soul goes here, smashes through the Arbiter, breaks the Arbiter, breaks Argus. A piece of Argus goes down into the Maw. And that piece is so just detached.
The bonds are broken. Hurry, before the guards return.
How does it relate to Lich King? It doesn't at all. That's the benefit of it. For real, detach the jailer from the Lich King. Just completely detach him from the Lich King. He should have been connected there anyways, if I'm being blunt. Like, I know this is death and all, but no. You could even have a thing where the Sylvanas is still the primary or perhaps initial villain of the Shadowlands. But as she's operating, as she's doing all her shtick for her own reasons, she starts running into more and more issues because the jailer, or whatever we end up calling him, the fragment, is just operating in the background. And yeah, that's true. That would also work if we never had Sylvanas as the villain. We could also make it so that we had the logistic expansion instead of BFA. And we've just finished with N'Zoth. And now we come in here because things are getting more and more broken as the fragment is exerting more and more influence over the Shadowlands. By the way, the reason they call him the jailer is because he's jailed here, so... I don't ask me.
You will be broken! All will serve the jailer.
I think they're having copy wrong. I shouldn't joke about that. Wouldn't it be funny if they wanted to do the prisoner and they ran into copyright issues? That's true. That would, if we went with the logistic expansion, the Undercity and Teldrassil would both still be there. Or we could have the inciting event of Shadowlands be an attack on the Undercity and Teldrassil by the fragment. There you go. That's how much damage it does. About a quarter of my health. I mean, that is what he is, Scion. That's straight up. Although, let's be honest, what the jailer really is a knockoff Sargeras. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's really obvious they were just scraping the barrel at this point in time and just threw out this Sargeras. We have Sargeras at home, Temu version of Sargeras for the villain. Because that's what the jailer is. He's a broken robot who thinks that the universe is wrong, and the only possible way to fix it is for him to be in total control of it and to purge and burn all of reality. He's freaking Sargeras too. We have Sargeras at home. I don't have a better way to put it.
Thank you, champion. I feared I would never be free of those shackles.
We should move quickly. Are you fit to travel?
I do,
will be fine
Palmer.
Once this place is behind us. Lead on. Be vigilant.
I'd almost forgotten the feeling of freedom. Right, because it's been weeks, remember. I know I can trust you with this task. Though we face insurmountable odds, we must try to do what is right.
Never lose hope.
I cannot express gratitude enough for your help. We mustn't linger, however. The jailer's forces will soon be alerted to the disturbance here. Let's leave at once.
My ability to teleport is limited here. But I should be able to open a portal back to my staff's location.
Jaina, do you see what's on your back right now?
Those wounds look serious, Thrall. Let me tend them.
Thank you, Anduin. It'll feel good to be back at full strength.
You know, the more I think about it, obviously we could do plenty of rewriting, and will when it comes to the Warcraft rewrite. But it would be relatively easy to adjust the jailer and barely change the narrative while still improving it. Like, okay. Let's assume... Have you not heard of The Prisoner? It's a show, sorry. It was a joke. I don't know, dude. Lost my train of thought. So imagine for a second if the jailer's the broken robot, the actually broken robot, right? Just the completely detached Terminator-style whatever. So Vanessa's whole shtick is freedom of choice, right? That's been her shtick since Warcraft 3. So, okay, cool. So she's doing all this nonsense. So she's still a villain. She caused all this death and all this nonsense because she's trying to break the cycle. She's sick of everything. She's sick of being sent to hell. She's sick of having to deal with life and death and everything. Screw it. Table flip, right? I'm with that. Okay. And she's constantly trying to deal with this stuff, and she starts running into conflict with the fragment, and she's just... I don't understand why you're trying to do it. And the fragment is just trying to categorize her and put her into a box and force her into doing whatever she wants to. So yeah, she now wants the broken robot to be a destroyed robot, and the broken robot wants her to be another cog in its machine. This naturally lends Sylvanas towards joining our side temporarily in order to help fight this stupid thing, because she is just as invested as destroying it as we are. She ends up giving us some of her expertise, access. We get to Zereth Mortis. We fight the thing, break it, crack, cool. Now what? Remove Sylvanas from the board by having her have her penance in the Maw. Cool. There you go. And do you see how few plot beats have to be changed to adjust for that?
Your arrival is timely. Our friend has something to share.
Probably, Scion, yeah.
We are eternal. Speak. How do we leave this place?
Futile! The path sealed long ago.
So there is a way out. Tell us where to find it.
Waystone! At the cauldron! Perhaps... No! Dormant. Broken. Nothing escapes the Maw.
Could you make sense of what it said, Lord Admiral?
The cauldron it spoke of lies beyond the River of Souls. I believe Bane is being held captive there.
Then it seems our course is clear. We are driven by a single purpose.
I cannot say I enjoyed wielding the Helm of Domination. The magic it holds is unsettling to the dead. I will gladly return it to your care.
A shadow of hope. We cannot leave these innocent souls alone to their fate. Our remaining forces will remain on guard here. Signal us when you find this waystone.
The true battle lies ahead.
Our next step is clear. We must travel to Zoval's Cauldron. A frightful place I've heard spoken of in fanatical whispers. It's a forge of sorts that lies across the River of Souls. I've only been there a handful of times, but I've seen Bane held captive over there.
I will never forget. You're troubled, Thrall. What is it?
Still no sign of Tyrande. We cannot leave her alone in this nightmare.
Agreed. But we have no idea how to find her. We will do our best, but this waystone may be our only means of escape. If there's a way out of the maw, then there has to be a way back in. We will return for her.
Yeah, by the way, dang it. Speaking of just banal reveals, did you catch that they just revealed the jailer's real name, which is Zoval? Just casually. Where are we going? Oh, well, we're going down to Zoval's Cauldron. That's it. Okay. Interesting idea, Caraway Mice.
Hold! I hear something stirring.
Ugh.
Your wretched souls will feed the coming darkness.
Hello, Helia. Why do you work for the jailer? Not answered.
You were soundly beaten by a force of wretched champions, witch.
You will pay for that insult! The skies of your world will be darkened by the wings of my Morsworn!
For Azeroth!
Drown! Drown among the souls of the damned!
So, this is really horrifying. I'll give him that.
Sound. It's unbearable!
Keep moving!
Elune will protect us. I didn't make it on time. Don't see me, don't see me, don't see me. I expected this all along. Lord Illidan will show us the way. This can't be. Hello, is anyone out there? Please spare me. This can't be how my story ends. There's like 30 or so of these that play randomly as the souls are just being funneled through. Ignore the tentacles. Tentacles don't matter. I did it. I sacrificed everything. Don't let it take me. There were children on that boat. Please. One of those just said... One of those just said, for the Horde. That one says, for the Alliance. That one says, what about my family? That one says, I trusted in Sylvanas. For all the messed up things... Excuse me. For all of the bad messed up things, the River of Souls is really, really good. It is exactly what it sounds like. And to be clear, these people should not be here. The mechanism of death is broken.
Look! On the precipice above! Is that...
the jailer! Pom-pom!
He has Bane.
A long road lies before us.
This is it.
I find yours.
God, he looks worse up close.
Bane! No!
His wounds are mending, but his spirit remains weakened. I've never seen anything like it.
I believe I have. In a place very far from here.
I mean, I would have, Scion. Yeah, literally the first words out of his mouth are the most generic Warcraft words ever written. I have made fun of this franchise for years for mortal. And the first thing he ever says is, pitiful mortal. You thought this fortune cookie would be sufficient for me, but I find it pathetic. For we literally had a mortal counter during the lore run because it was so dumb. Oh, speaking of which, the jailer just showed up again. We're up to 2. This is not going to be a high number, by the way.
Loktar, let honor guide your path.
Even as Bane's flesh mends, his spirit draws closer to death. I have seen dark magic like this before amongst the Shadowmoon clan. The Jailer's minions must have inflicted a similar malady upon Bane. The only cure was to find the object they used to poison the spirit and shatter it. The sorcerers of this realm wield ornamental daggers. That might be what we're looking for.
For Azeroth.
That is... I'm sorry, hang on. Correct, Elizar. No, see, the Dreadlords work for the Jailer's crony. All of them. Remember, the Jailer was behind the Burning Legion. I will never stop saying that because of how stupid it is. Someone asked earlier, how do we have the Anima Drought? I think it was Pillars of Snow, I think. Even Lothraxion, it's actually mentioned. Lothraxion is actually mentioned as a hypothetical servant of the Jailer. Okay. Aberrant anomaly detected. Purging irregular materials. And then we kill Bane. No, the way we still have an Anima Drought is all you have to do, and it's so obvious of a thing that I actually think this was the original story idea. You ever notice how most expansions tend to have, like, relatively unrelated regional threats within a zone? Let's look at Legion for a second, right? So we had the Fellscorn and Odin in Stormheim, right? In High Mountain, we had the Drogbar King, whose name I can't think of, Dargul, I want to say, and the Fell Totem. Over in Val Shara, we had, God, names. I'm really bad with it. I have a huge headache right now. We had Xavius and the Nightmare. And then down at Ajuna, we had some Legion, but it was mostly Ashara and the Naga. Now, there was still Legion presence throughout each of the 4 zones, but you had 4 distinct and separate villains. And hey, Shadowlands. So we've got, you know, the Sorrow, whatever they are. Okay, cool. We've got Kel'Thuzad and his machinations. Cool. Down here we've got Moisella. Okay, cool. And over here we got Denathrius. Boom. There you go. Fixed. Literally detaching each of these 4 villain groups from the Jailer makes all 4 of them better by the disconnection. The Forsworn, thank you. But no. They're all sucking the Jailer's dick, or trying to. It takes all of them, see, because the dick is so big that they can each only get, like, wrap their lips around, like, 1 inch. So they're all just kind of like eels or leeches on the damn thing.
Thromkar.
That's your visual image for the day from the Lore Runner. I was a damned fool for throwing my axe at that sea hag. We can't afford to lose focus. The battle ahead won't be easy. I'll need another weapon to help us fight the Waystone. Looks like these soldiers have plenty of armaments. Let's keep an eye out for one I can use.
For Azeroth.
What do they get from doing that? Nothing! Literal nothing.
Crossbow. I prefer to strike my enemies face to face. I suppose it's got heft to it. Let's see what else we can find, though.
It is legitimately a point in this expansion that Denathrius is on top of things, right? Like, for all intents and purposes, he's the actual real villain of Shadowlands in terms of who's actually accomplishing most of the problems across the zones, right? And he's just doing it all for the jailer. No stated reasoning for that is ever given. He's just that loyal to someone that he himself was against.
I've never been one for staves, but at least it won't break in a melee. Let's keep looking.
Oh, so 0 is how much health I am missing, and 712 is how much health I have. Speaking of someone who heals a lot, I find that more useful than a more linear thing like current health. So, like, if I'm hurt, I'll see... Here, let's see if he can actually do any damage to me. Nah, Thrall's tanking. Or whatever. You get the idea, though, right? Like, I could see that, oh, I'm down 250, so I know I need to do this type of a heal. Stuff like that. Why is he loyal? Not answered.
A serviceable weapon. Though I've never understood why the Alliance seems so fixated with swords. Too much blade. Not enough haft.
Oh my god, was that a dick joke?
Too long a handle. Better than nothing, I suppose. Let's take one more look. At last, a proper warrior's weapon. If the jailer comes, he will taste my steel.
Listen, the jailer's sword, you have no idea. A Shaw what, J. Palmer? It makes perfect sense, Lunarith. Or rather, it makes way more sense than any of this nonsense. Yeah, there's no elements here. A shaman, ironically, probably shouldn't be able to operate in the Maw. Now, that would be fascinating if each class functioned a little bit differently here because their powers just don't quite work right for different reasons.
This must be the dagger. Bane's blood still stains its blade. Well met. Together, we are strong. Let honor guide your path.
Now that we have the dagger, it will take the combined will of all of us to sever the weapon's link to the High Chieftain. Jaina, Anduin, and I must do our part to keep Bane's spirit grounded. So it'll be up to you to deal with whatever force is unleashed. Are you up to the task?
For Azeroth.
No, that's why I hesitate on it, Ramble. I tend to like those kind of gameplay limitations for story if they're done right. But yeah, it would be very easy to see that being bad, right? So, I don't know. You know, that's actually a good point. Jaina's just fine. Anduin's just fine. Thrall can't do anything.
When I break the blade, be prepared for whatever comes.
This curse is tearing his soul.
Hold on, Bane!
You must defeat it quickly! I think he's coming too. Bane, can you hear me?
Anduin? I thought my end had come. It almost did, were it not for this champion.
No, I don't exist, remember?
Then you have my eternal gratitude, hero.
But I don't... Okay.
Spirits watch over you.
Were it not for your efforts, I am certain my body and soul would be trapped in this forsaken place for eternity. I owe you my life, and I will fight to my last breath to repay this debt. Hey, off the deeper end.
I wish we had more time for you to recover, but we need to move.
And yes, you got the tick choke.
Lead the way.
She's still got the bug. Do you see that? Look at that. Yeah, can Bane still do stuff? That's actually not a bad question. We must now move quickly if we want to find the Waystone. The soul mentioned it overlooks the cauldron, which would put it somewhere on the other ridge on the other side. Unfortunately, this area is swarming with enemy forces. We best avoid attention.
Be careful who you trust.
We seek a waystone located beyond the cauldron. Have you seen it? I spotted an obelisk of ancient stone upon the high ridge. It did not seem important. The jailer's forces pay it little heed. What do you think it is?
Our way out of here. We hope. What would you ask the...
I mean, what's really funny, Mr. Red, is it kind of started really strong with Exile's Reach and a, honestly, pretty solid cutscene. I've spit a lot of venom at that cutscene for years, but take it in a vacuum, it is actually a pretty solid cutscene. It just makes one major mistake. And then we hit this, and it's just like, hey...
I will never forget.
The jailer's forces seem endless. There is no way we can fight through them all. Jaina, can you hide us from their sight?
Why, yes. As a frost mage, I am well known for my stealth.
But there will likely be some who can see through it. Stay
Sorry.
close.
Just
we can't
really.
afford to draw them. Hold here.
That... it's worth noting that the Maw itself is really, really well done on the visual axis. A lot. I will not stop praising the Maw.
Eyes can see through my
visually. It is incredibly well designed, as most WoW zones are.
The jailer's army rivals that of the Legion.
Bane.
And it's growing larger.
Bane. In case you missed that, he just said that the jailer rivals the size of the Legion. Now, I know what you're thinking. Lore, he doesn't know the size of the Legion's army.
So many souls pouring into the Maw. The dead of Azeroth, Draenor, worlds beyond our imagination. All damned to this place.
To be forged into weapons for the jailer. Despite all Sylvanas has done, I never thought she'd be part of something like this.
Here, this barrier will protect us.
I can make us invisible again. Give me a moment.
Yeah, you notice Bane flat out says, the jailer, in the exact same way I've been doing jokingly. Mockingly.
Look, on the platform ahead. That must be the Waystone.
Yep.
We need to reach it before the jailer takes notice.
Yeah, there's Torghast. So...
The Waystone was said to be dormant, yet it seems to be reacting to our presence.
Nope. It's reacting to ours. Okay. So...
I don't think the stone is responding to us. I think it's responding to this champion.
Alright, for those of you in chat who do not know the answer to this question, why do you think this eroded Waystone responds to us? Oh wait, get some guesses in, for real. I'm really curious. I like the jailer wants you to escape. Because we're dead, except we're not. Because we have plot armor. Because the necklace. Good idea, actually. That would have been a much better idea. Remember, canonically, we still have the Heart of Azeroth on us, since BFA. We still have it all the way up to War Within. So having the necklace on us would actually have been a really good way to do this, which they totally didn't do. Do you know the real reason? So, You got the Titans, right? Super ancient, super powerful. They helped order the universe. Cool. But before them were the Eternal Ones, which are even bigger and stronger and bigger dickisicus. Okay? So the Eternal Ones are even more of a deal in Ancient. But hang on! Before the Eternal Ones were the First Ones, who were even more ancientier than the Eternal Ones, who are more ancient than the Titans, okay? So the First Ones, who are Titan plus at this point, they have a prophecy, this is not a joke, about us. We are the chosen one of the ancient ones. That is not a joke. Also, I'm sorry. Can we just give a negative, separate from everything I just said, for the fact that they didn't just introduce one precursor race, but two in the same expansion? Like, legitimately, when Shadowlands was new, several people were having trouble distinguishing between the Eternal Ones and the First Ones. Probably because one of them is called the Eternal Ones, the other one's called the First Ones. Both of them are older than the Titans. Okay. Just... Where are we at? Okay, That's a good question, Mr. Floyd Pinkerton. I have done my research several times on the First Ones to see if there's been any new information in the books, because the books are still coming out. We've got those exploration novels. We've got just the books, the short stories have been coming out. And, of course, there's interviews. And the answer as of right now is that the First Ones are the First Ones. They're the ancients. That's it. All we know about them is that they forged absolutely everything. Maybe. But who graded them? The zeroth ones! Yeah, sorry, do you mind if I just massively spoil here? Because screw it. Let's go look at Shadowlands. Let's go look at the Sepulchre. And, oh, hey, check it out. Here's the robot versions of the Eternal Ones. Literally, they're straight-up robots. These are prototypes for the Eternal Ones in the realm of the First Ones. There's our necromancer guy I mentioned earlier. Oh yeah, and before the First Ones were the Banished Ones, and before the Banished Ones were, I don't know, the current ones, and it looped. It looped. Dude, I got nothing. I've got nothing. Yeah, all the Zereth Mortis stuff looks like it's made of light. It does look cool. I'll give him that. I'll give him that. Listen, before the... Look, Lord knows I tend to be a little bit generic in my names, the Devourer. But even I would agree that calling one group the Eternal Ones and the other groups the First Ones, in the same expansion, no less, was probably not a great idea. So, yeah, sorry, getting back to the plot for a second here. So it's been argued at several times in BFA and arguably in Dragonflight that we don't exist. That the main character functionally does not exist. We are a passenger in someone else's story. I'll admit I don't care for that, but at the end of the day, that is what it is. That's how a lot of MMOs approach their storytelling. So fine, whatever. This, however, everything hinges on the fact that there is a prophecy about us from the First Ones, and that makes us the Chosen One. Now, hang on. Have you already noticed the problem with that? See, here's the dealio. Every MMO has hundreds or thousands or 3 player characters, right? And that makes sense, because it's an MMO. It's one of the M's in the title, right? But the thing is, we all just kind of mentally wash that away, because canonically, in the MMOs that have a strong story focus, usually there's like 1 character. In FF14, there is 1 Warrior of Light. We've got the Scions backing us up, but there's just 1 us, right? Here's the problem. In WoW, canonically for some time, especially in Legion, but this is also qualified in the books, there are several main characters. Canonically, there's at least 1 of each class, and probably there's actually 1 of each spec. And that's a consistent thing throughout Warcraft, throughout World of Warcraft. Warcraft is an RTS, not an RPG, so of course we have an army rather than a party. It makes sense. There's a logic there. And they're pretty consistent about it. Except for here, where all of a sudden, we're the chosen one. There was actually an interview. This is not a joke. There's an interview about this at one of the BlizzCon panels saying, how can there be 1 chosen one when canonically there's so many player characters? And the answer was, well, no, your player character is the most chosen one, but they're all a chosen one. Now, I can't ding the game for that, because that's information out of the game. But I just thought I'd share that little tidbit to show just how much thought and effort that was being put into this.
Sometimes we must fight for...
We made it! We can activate this waystone. We just might be able to escape this place.
Victory in the light.
I've never seen markings like this before. I've studied Titan artifacts, but this appears to be made by a different hand. It doesn't respond to me. I think Jaina's right. The waystone's reacting to you. To you, the chosen one.
When the jailer realizes our plan, he'll send all his forces against us. Our only chance is to keep them at bay long enough for the waystone to fully charge. Every second counts.
Yeah, hang on, Jaina. I'm setting my talents real quick. We're in such a hurry, champion. Jaina, hang on. Shh. Slow down. Yeah, exactly, Scion.
Relic of the first ones.
He's back!
Responding to a mortal? Impossible! Mothwolf! Take them!
Anduin being the chosen one would have made more sense. I probably still would have dinged it if I'm being honest. But it would have made more sense. Yeah, I don't know what was wrong with his voice acting there. Oh wait, yes I do. This was being made when the offices was metaphorically on fire, and then COVID hit. I'm sorry to keep hammering that point in, but it really does explain everything about Shadowlands. This is exactly the kind of garbage you're going to get when you're working under those circumstances. To answer you, Lord Harrimont, I planned all of this out way in advance, right? That's kind of how I tend to do things. So, I always knew I wanted to have a paladin here, and I always wanted to have that paladin do a specific Covenant campaign.
My forces are vast, endless.
Yep, the Legion's endless, we get it. Uh-huh, come on, Grandpa. You need to go eat your yogurt before you can take your pills.
It's nearly charged! Do not falter!
Death comes for the soul of your world. All that you see, all that you know, will be undone.
Okay.
Jaina, something's wrong. It seems the waystone has stopped charging.
The stone responds to you, champion! Try to activate it while we hold off the jailer's army!
shapes the law. Yield to the inevitable.
They've stopped their advance. The light is with me, even here. Go, champion! Go! You have failed.
No. I have precisely what I need.
Also, even for Warcraft, this dialogue is pretty bad. But did you notice the lip flaps were actually proper? Like, I forget what to call that.
Agent of the Maw is attacking Oribos. Defend the Arbiter!
Hold. The Maw's power does linger upon them, but I sense... No, that cannot be possible!
So hold up. So there's the Maw down there. Nice place. Hey, the paintings are back. Unfortunately, I don't have an inky black potion. Sorry. Mawwaka. You arrive at the precipice of a strange city, and a negative to story, knowing the leaders of Azeroth remain trapped in the Maw. Wherever you are, it's clearly very, very far from home. It appears your arrival has been noticed. So yeah, here we are. The airport. I've already said this like a dozen times, but to be clear, I am not a fan of Oribos. It's... We'll get more into it in a second. We got a few cutscenes first. Hello.
The purpose reveals our way.
We must bring them to the Overseers at once.
Come with us, stranger.
Is our faith in the purpose being tested? That being reeks of the Maw. It must be the purpose. It guides us as always. Now, granted, my eyes are dumb and stupid and terrible and literally Hitler, but the kind of dull blue stone gray alongside kind of the burnished copper does not work for me.
The reports from our scryers were unmistakable. The Maw shuddered for a moment, as if reacting to some change.
An ill omen, to be certain. What can it mean? Overseers, this stranger appeared at the city's edge. I believe them to be a living mortal.
So, I should mention something really quick. These robot guys...
Another unexpected development. We shall see to their reception.
They're just humans. Now, hang on. I know. Remember, rocking the shoe. It's all little stuff. They're just humans. All of the robots who operate this place are just humans. Human models with armor that covers their skin. That's it. They didn't come up with anything else. They didn't do anything unique with them. Like, even these guys, they did something with them to make them kind of unique and interesting, right? But all the robot guards are literally just human males with armor covering them. Pretty much the same armor in each case, actually. Once again, you can really feel how much this expansion was just kind of thrown together by computers who are on fire. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me who they're... It's also the leveling armor. There's ways to make this work. There's ways they have used to make this work. You remember the Constellar animation from Wrath and from Pandaria is also a human male model. But it's unique and interesting, and it's got like the star effect coming out. You can literally see the constellation in it. It only shows up in certain areas, usually something to do with the Constellars. That's not what they did here. Those are just guys in suits. That's it. Hang on. Is it not looking at me? No, it's not. Alright, whatever. We'll get to that in a second.
The Arbiter sees all...
Skip through the leveling campaign. Still approve.
Trust the purpose.
That's a good question. Where are we at in FF14 history here? Yeah, the floor bothers me. Is that just me? Like, in a place that's heavily robotic inspired and is all about the pattern and the purpose, capital P purpose, that's the floor? Hang on, give me a sec. I'm looking up specific dates. Give me a second. Here we go. Okay. Alright, so this came out... November of 2020. So this was during Shadowbringers. Specifically... Oh, it's not going to tell me the patches. Oh, here we go. This would have been... patch 5.3 of Shadowbringers. Oh, jeez. So actually, hang on. This was about 2 weeks before patch 5.4. So let's just put it there, okay? So that's our direct competition. So that's Eden stuff. In fact, it looks like it's the final Eden stuff, if I'm looking at this correctly. We're up to Emerald in the weapon chain. We're up to Yorha Apocalypse in that chain. This is when the Delibrum Regine came up. And yeah, pretty much the dead end of the original Shadowbringers arc. 5.5 was the last Shadowbringers one. So yeah, that was the competition Shadowlands had in FF14. That's the first time that has swung that way. Because almost every time, it's like, all right, Pandaria versus ARR. No contest, right? Legion versus Stormblood. No contest. But then we get to this, and it's like, yeah, so the end of Shadowbringers versus this. Oh my god.
The purpose brought you to us.
An actual mortal in the Eternal City. Purpose be served.
Blessed be her voice.
A living mortal. Incredible. Forgive my astonishment. I am Ka Delen, an overseer of Arbiter's attendants here in the Eternal City of Oribos. You stand within the heart of the Shadowlands. While we are accustomed to receiving souls from all manner of worlds from within the mortal realm, never has one arrived as so corporeal. Answer honestly, did you truly escape the maw?
Fate guides your...
Yes, these are robots who follow strict orders and structure and rules and have a veneration of a concept they call the purpose with a capital P, but these have nothing to do with the Titans.
Every attendant in Oribos is taught that the maw is unbreachable, that the malevolent souls within were sealed away for all eternity.
This mortal's escape might mean the prison is weakening. If true, the banished one could...
Ka Delen, Ka-Sher, purpose be praised. At long last, the Arbiter has stirred.
Wondrous news, honored voice. Mere moments ago, there was a disturbance at the boundary of the maw. Then this mortal appeared, claiming to have broken free of it.
A living mortal? Surely their presence here serves the purpose. If the Arbiter reacted to their arrival, perhaps they are the key to waking her.
Is this mortal worthy of such an audience? They may prove to be an agent of the jailer.
It is the Arbiter's place to judge souls, Kasher, not ours. I will bring this mortal before her. With her voice have I spoken.
Blessed be her voice.
Does anyone remember what these jackasses are called? I
be her voice.
I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm not going to find that here. I know, purpose be praised. Nothing to do with the Titans. The Bootlickers. Perfect. I'll just look up a name. Who is this? Adelen. Isn't that literally the name of a Mimbari? These are the Attendants, is their species name. So, I want to call attention to something. I swear I'm not looking for reasons to bash this game. I'm really not. I don't have to. The game is serving them up for me. Picture in your mind the voice direction of the Earthen, the modern Earthen, the ones in War Within. There's a wonderful balancing point they manage between robotic and emotive. And it's pretty much perfect, right? Well, I think it is. Speaking as a voice director, I'm very impressed with how they voice the Earthen. Now, picture what you just heard here. Because the way that they talk here is trying to invoke a bit of a different vibe than what they do with the Earthen. And I cannot be the only one that bothers. Obviously, as a player, it bothers me, but as a voice director, I'm like, stop it! Stop telling your voice actors to enunciate in this manner. Stop telling them to sit on their vowels. Yeah, it sounds wrong, and frankly, it makes it sound boring. It gets to the point where you start losing focus as you're listening to them because their dialogue is just kind of slowly voicing itself as they talk. Roaming from topic to topic, it was really quite hypnotic. No. What's funny is it wouldn't have been that bad if, like, one of them spoke that way. Maybe the voice does. Telenara? Okay, I can buy that. Maybe the will speaks completely differently over here, the Overseer. And the will is more, no, it's, there's some verb, there's some vibe behind it. Or maybe this one over here is speaking very, very chipper. Like you could have varied this up and done a whole lot of ways to make this work, but instead, they all sound like they're falling asleep.
What news do you bring?
I'm not going to do that. I'm Telenara, honored voice of the Arbiter. I speak for she who is ever silent. The Arbiter watches over Oribos. She blesses us with her wisdom. Every mortal soul that enters the Shadowlands passes before her for judgment. By the way, Mr. Red pointed this out earlier. Do you notice how there's a lot of frankly bad world building here that's trying very hard to establish a world that has nothing to do with Warcraft? In the merest fraction of a moment, she sees every glory, every folly, every joy, every regret, and with this knowledge, she chooses the ideal afterlife for that soul. At least she did. Not long ago, catastrophe struck, and come, some things are better seen than explained. But yeah, sorry, in case you missed that, a supercomputer filters the souls and then distributes them off to their appropriate afterlife. Okay? First of all, it's the most Titan frickin' thing I've heard of in here. But second of all, what?
I will consider.
Yeah, this is the... I should probably mention, this is the afterlife of the multiverse. Their terminology, not mine.
All will be judged fairly. I pray the Arbiter will awaken in your presence.
Ah! There's the Arbiter. Cool. Cool.
What might your purpose be? She is unchanged, ever silent, ever still. When you arrived in Oribos, I saw the Arbiter stir for the first time in many cycles. It gave me hope that she would awaken and resume her blessed purpose. Mere words cannot describe the glory that was. Step forward, that I may show you.
Okay, so hang on. No! No!
For uncounted eons, the Shadowlands was in perfect order.
Notice there's only 4.
Infinite afterlives, with Oribos, the eternal city, as the shining heart.
Infinite 4. They can't count past 4, so.
Soul came before the Arbiter, and she, ever wise, experienced all that had shaped a soul in life. With this knowledge, she consigned every soul to the afterlife it justly deserved.
Still 4.
Until...
So there's Argus. I should mention we don't know this is Argus yet, but everybody thought this was Argus.
In that dread moment, our perfect order was shattered. And so it is that every soul, kind and cruel alike, is denied its rightful afterlife, and instead is damned to the inescapable torment of the Maw.
Yeah, a question, why is that the default? Who built this thing?
Now souls rich with anima travel over...
Oh, hey! That's our first real reference of anima, too.
We have tried everything to stop it. To awaken our blessed Arbiter. To no avail. Without anima, drought has gripped the Shadowlands. The afterlives have grown isolated. Fear and uncertainty haunt us all. With
blah, blah, blah.
Countless souls feeding the jailer, I fear he may grow strong enough to break free from the Maw. It is said he is filled with hatred for the Arbiter. If he strikes her down, it would bring the end of everything the First Ones made. Return to the lower levels. The Overseers will prepare you for what is to come.
Is he doing dances from, like, all kinds of different races? Or am I just completely on crack there? So, let's talk how reviews work, shall we? Let's say there's something I don't particularly care for in a review, but it's done well. Is that a positive or a negative? Positive, correct. Let's say that there's something in a review that's done badly that I don't like. So, here's the dealio. You can see in the distance, first of all, she just said, infinite afterlives, which is already stupid, but let's just move past that. So there's all the afterlives. You can see them in the distance. It's the skybox. Do you see all that? So there's a bajillion, drillion, cajillion, fagrillion, infinite afterlives. Billions of bajillions of megillions of afterlives, okay? Now, I don't like that. That's awful. That completely de-invests me in everything going on here. However, it doesn't matter if I like it. What matters is if it's done well. Hey, guess what isn't done well? So, you could be forgiven for thinking there's only the 5 afterlives because everything everywhere indicates there's only the 5. After this point. She says there's infinite. There's all the gates. That's it. That's your only indicator of the infinite. Everything else acts like the big 4, plus the Maw, is it. Everything else treats it like these are the only eternal ones. These are the only ones who interact with us. These are the only ones who matter. These are the only ones who have the seal on Zereth Mortis. Is these 4. Well, 5. These 5. Right? Yeah, the architecture downstairs has 4 cardinal points. The cutscene had only the 4 actual afterlives connected. This is an idea I don't like, done terribly. Negative. This is once again that internal consistency. If you're paying attention, I actually jotted down that negative before I even started the stream. Now, let's go ahead and math this up, because I can tell you exactly what happened, and I can. Something they've been pushing around since BC, how many of you remember this, was the idea that they've always wanted to have extra... Oh my god, I'm hovering. Oh my god, I'm hovering. Remember what I mentioned about the rock in the shoe and the lack of polish? Look where the ground is. So, yeah, it's literally a box collider. The quickest and easiest way to do collision. Sylvanas! So, that's just... Was that Bragwin? Was that Bragwin? That is Bragwin. Hey, Bragwin. She is also hovering. Just right there. Oh my god. Ah. Okay, hang on. I need a second. I'll tell you exactly what they were trying to do. Let me restart my sentence, because I lost it. No, this isn't laziness. This is the office is on fire. I know it takes longer to say, but it's a lot more accurate. The office is on fire. They've wanted to do the concept of having all kinds of random other worlds we could go to since BC. They specifically left a bunch of those dark portals over the... You remember that? In Outland. There's several of them just lying around. And they even... So they left that in the game, and they said in interviews they wanted to have things where you could activate that and actually go through that and go to thing. Because they wanted to just do random, fun, interesting little things, right? And that makes sense. There's an appeal to that of just like, you know what, I feel like having a lava world, or a world where everything's upside down, or a world where there's something where like everything's inside out or whatever. Just whatever random idea occurs to them, they can just plop down in those portals. Now, they never did that in BC. Fast forward a little bit, Legion did do that with the invasion portals. We could see, I only showed off one of those on camera, but Legion had several Legion portals which led to other random weird spots. And I guarantee you, this was the same damn idea. They wanted to have all these different afterlives. So what would have happened is like an event, or a quest, or a world quest, or a daily, or something where you go to, you know, that afterlife. I can't even ping it. It's not even a real thing. We go to that afterlife over there. And it happens to be the afterlife where everyone's a bee. And you go running around and doing a bee. If this sound... Oh, no, hang on. We go to that afterlife, and that afterlife is where everyone's in an eternal state of war. And that afterlife over there is where death reigns over everything. And that afterlife up there is where everyone's a Murloc. If this sounds familiar, it should, because they then implemented this concept in Dragonflight. Right? So, they wanted to have all kinds of... Yeah, that afterlife over there's Twitch. They wanted to have all kinds of this thing again, and would eventually do this, but because the office was on fire during the development of Shadowlands, none of that ever came to fruition. So everything narratively focuses on the 5. 5 keystones, 5 eternal ones, 5 relevant afterlives that operate and function the constructed afterlife. The mechanism of death is operated by those 5. All the rest of it does not exist past this cutscene. That's why I'm not going to be super harsh on this, because past this, it doesn't even show up. To my knowledge. If it shows up again, I'll ding it there. Now, Mr. Red asks, what don't I like about infinite afterlives? Do you know what the word infinite means, Mr. Red? There's no shame in saying no. Because most human beings cannot even begin to comprehend what the word infinite means. Infinite is such a ludicrous concept in many ways, and I do use the word ludicrous as clearly as I can, that it completely bypasses everything else that can be considered. If there are truly infinite afterlives, for example, there is every afterlife you could possibly conceive of. Every character who's ever died is off there somewhere doing something somewhere. It is essentially a guarantee. It is more or less the exact same problem as a multiverse. From a writing perspective, that right there is something that is just pointless. It's too big, it's too vacuously huge, and it also makes it so you can do whatever with no consequences narratively. But hang on, and you got there before I did, Mr. Red. The last and final problem there is if there is truly infinite afterlives, the Maw should not exist. There is no reason for the Maw to exist if there are infinite afterlives. Now, it is worth noting that I am being literal here, and maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe there aren't actually infinite afterlives. Maybe there's just a lot. You know, if you look out there for a second, I'd say maybe a couple hundred. And honestly, a couple hundred afterlives is a lot, if we think about it, right? So, there you go. There's a couple hundred afterlives. But the problem is, it doesn't sound big, doesn't it? There are a couple hundred afterlives. Just, it doesn't have the ring to it, right? How you bring a ring to that, by the way, because I do know how to edit, thank you very much, is what you say is, there is a great multitude of afterlives, and with its perfect computational power, it can see your life and decide which one best fits you. Bam, fixed, no issues. But nope, there's 5. Moving on.
Come forth and be
If you really... I knew it, Evo! Get some good rest. If you really want to not give a specific number, put it a different way. Restructure the sentence, right? We do not know how many afterlives are out there. It has been many years since I have ever stopped to count them all. We have all placed our trust in the purpose to ensure that each soul goes to the afterlife best suiting that soul. That is right off the top of my head, so I could probably edit that down to make it better, but you get the idea. So it's not infinite, it's not hundreds, it's just a lot, and I haven't bothered counting in a while. Boom. And as Scion pointed out earlier, just in case you thought I was ignoring you, it's entirely possible that most of the other ones are like holding grounds, or, no, better word, resorts. It's entirely possible that these 5 are bureaucracy, right? Because, spoilers, all 4 of these serve a purpose, not the capital P purpose, although that... Each of these serves a point, right? Each of these has a job. They deal with the passage to and from the afterlife. They help defend it from the many foes that are within here. They help the restoration and the cycle of rebirth and reincarnation. And they help with anima farming as well as... the word I can't think of. The word that isn't punishment. Rehabilitation. There's the word I'm going for. So it's entirely possible that these 4 are just bureaucracy. And then there's all the other ones, and those are just tea parties, right? All the other ones are just where you go when you're done. Okay, cool. You know what? I don't feel like working in Revendreth today. I just want to go chill for a millennia. Okay. Ah. Well, that's an interesting question, Lineruth. And that's valid. So that is kind of the paradox of infinity, isn't it? If there are truly infinite afterlives, why does there have to be a realm of punishment? And if there are truly infinite afterlives, how many of them are realms of punishment? See you around, Jay Palmer.
Has its place.
No matter how you slice it, making this actually infinite was not the great. So, and yeah, that's the thing. The great thing about infinity is it's not actually a number. It is a concept. If there's an infinite number of afterlives, then there are an infinite number of hells and an infinite number of does not need to exists. Oh yeah, also 4 equals death, which I didn't learn for years. It wasn't until I started looking more into the construction of specifically Japanese games that I started learning about the 4 death thing. Yep, a fraction of infinity is...
The eternal city must endure.
We must find a shared cause in the purpose for it has sent you to us.
We all have a part to play.
It is disappointing that you are unable to stir the Arbiter, but we must not give up hope. Your continued presence in the Shadowlands may help our cause. Perhaps your efforts would go to creating a tether to the mortal plane. The map in this table was put into place by the First Ones. I just realized this is funny. This actually makes this even more confusing. We encounter and get the First Ones named before we encounter and name the Eternal Ones. I never really processed that before. But we haven't actually... Let's ignore the jailer for a second. We haven't actually met or had a name for the Eternal Ones yet.
Fate guides your hand.
Hey, look! 4! Sorry. I'm sorry. It's right there. It's right there. There's 4. There's 4 lights. Hello, Bolvar.
More outsiders. What have you done, mortal?
Be at ease. I am Bolvar Foredragon. These knights and I are here to help.
The touch of the Maw is upon their souls as well. But if they found a way to break free of its influence, perhaps they can aid us.
How would you know that they have broken free of the Maw's influence? Because they said they're here to help? Is that your metric for are you an ally? Could the jailer have won years ago if he just sent up some Mawsworn who are like, hey, we're here to help, and they'd be like, yes, please, come into our city. And then stab! For real, though, Bolvar does look pretty badass. I will absolutely give you that. It's an interesting take on the old second Lich King's armor, but it's not quite the second Lich King's, and it's also not quite the Mawsworn's. It is uniquely Bolvar, and he does a really good job with it. So, yeah, I'll take that. That mace. Jesus Christ, that mace. Alright. That mace goes hard.
We all have a duty to fulfill.
Hordrunner, I'm relieved you survived the Realm of Darkness. I'm eager to hear the tale. Yeah, so apparently I'm the chosen one of the ancients. What?
We all have our burdens to bear.
The helm fragment connected us through while you were in the Maw. As if through a darkened pane of glass, I saw glimpses of what you endured, the terrors you faced. At least the heroes of Azeroth yet live. They must be saved. By affixing the helm here, you gave us a tether to Azeroth that served to bring us across the veil. I'm not going to question that. Our acolytes can open portals back. No doubt these attendants will be particular about their placement.
The balance must be restored.
You seek to open a doorway back to the realm of the living? Oh dear. Oribos is crowded enough with so many brokers arriving every day.
Yeah, brokers.
Now, Karshare, be hospitable. Mortal, I suggest establishing your portals where you first arrived. Just outside the city.
See you around, Ramble. So... oh, hey, Ouroboros. Do you get it? So, Scion and Huthor both pointed out the same general idea. They're about to just open portals. There, to Orgrimmar and to Stormwind. And I'm going to spoil something for you. Oribos is going to be filled with a whole bunch of people who are, this is not a joke, just visiting. They've just decided to visit the afterlife. And it's exactly as problematic as it was back in Warlords for pretty much the exact same reason. When you casually allow that many people to just kind of walk into the afterlife, it sort of changes the vibe. But it's actually worse than in Warlords, because in Warlords' case, it was just insane and nonsensical. Here it's setting breaking. This is destroying every religion, well, almost every religion in the entire world. Just, hey, here's the afterlife. What? And yeah, what's funny is they could fix this. They already have. Legion gave us a special Hearthstone. Right here. Just for Legion. Yeah, sorry, every religion's wrong. Sorry, everyone. Sorry, go home. What's a religious war? I gotta do something really quick. Really quick. Yeah, why would you ever be sad at death? I've been to the afterlife! Everyone, when I was younger, back in college, I had a vague story idea I never actually wrote. And it boiled down to, if there was a constructed afterlife like this, and people were able to just walk into it all willy-nilly and interact with it and back, it would completely break the world. It would break all culture and society, and it would have to form something new. Like, fear of death would go away. I mean, obviously not everyone would react the same way, but, like, you get the idea, right? Yeah, death is just moving to a different postcode. It's like, oh, Grandma, you're dead. So make sure to write. Here's where I'm going to be. Do you want me to take care of any... Do you want me to send you any of your stuff after you die?
Got the best deals anywheres. You drive a hard...
Like, you see how much that just kind of cracks things in half? And, again, part of this expansion will try to make... Hi, Mr. Red. We'll try to make it so that, like... we're the Maw Walker. We're super unique in particular. But we totally aren't. People can go to all the other afterlives like that. Like, just all willy-nilly. No issues. The only place that's locked off is the Maw. This is it. That's why we're the Maw Walker. Everyone else can just go wherever. I mean, I don't want to spoil, but let's just say we were going to meet several people as we go throughout the afterlives who just decided to visit.
Glad I could help.
Oh god, yeah, like ownership rights. You know there are people who'd be dead who would like try to come back, right? And they're like, hey, hang on, I still want that. That's still mine. Legal ownership would be thrown completely out the window. And yeah, taxes? How about debts? It's just... You know, I know you're dead, Loke, and have been for years, but you never paid me back for that one time. Oh, it's still not working because the Maw's overriding it. He's spending a year dead for tax purposes. Ah, well.
I will listen. For now.
I have opened countless portals in my lifetime, but never one that connected two planes of reality.
First time?
I thought death was the end of existence. Here, it seems, death is a power that offers new beginnings.
Gee, that sounds like a setting-breaking kind of massive sea change to the whole setting. That will never matter again. I'm sorry, let me just lay this out here. Expansions after this will have quests that operate in a way that does not make sense if the Shadowlands exist. The constructed afterlives, excuse me. In other words, they go back to the old way the Shadowlands used to work. Like just jumping over it as if the Shadowlands never happened. I bring that up because that's a good example of why retcons are not inherently bad. I say with total sincerity that just flinging the Shadowlands, the expansion, out the window is honestly probably one of the best ideas they could have had. Just go right back to the way things used to be. Move on. Thank you, Winlock, for being part of the show. I've put that towards Patch Within, Patch Trail, and Midnight. Still need to decide what we're going to call that. Patch Night? So this city sucks, right? Like, this sucks. This city sucks. Orc Heritage is a good example in Nerif. Oh, hey, it's Jaina. Just here to chat. What's up, Jaina? Jaina?
Hello, Jaina.
Khadgar, it's good to see you
Just
again.
visiting.
When we last parted, I regret that...
Those were perilous times. The Legion's attack, then the war. I think we both needed to find our own way through. I have no hard feelings. Only friendship.
I feel the same. But surely you didn't come all the way to the Shadowlands just to find me.
No. For years I've read about this place in Medivh's books. I stood atop Karazhan and caught glimpses through the veil. I suppose I wanted to gaze upon the realms of death with mine own eyes before.
Is everything all right, Khadgar?
I feel the weight of years upon me, Jaina. The burdens carried, the choices made. Forgive the musings of an old man. I think I'll look round and see these Shadowlands a bit. See what wonders I can find. I've heard tales of conniving brokers, a city of secrets, and a land of ancient knowledge. How intriguing.
Sounds like you'll be keeping busy. Just don't leave without saying goodbye. I've missed you, old friend.
Count on it, Jaina. Be seeing you.
Okay, so that's a nice conversation and all, and Khadgar's awesome. But I'm sorry, what? Medivh knew about the constructed afterlives, problem number one, and never mentioned it to anyone, of course. Khadgar casually visits the Shadowlands because he's curious and wants to go slumming. Slumming's the wrong one. He's on vacation. He's doing a tour through the afterlives. Also, ignore the fact that Jaina's here right now. Remember, we're time locked. We're chromie timing, and we're low level, and we just got out of the maw. What is she doing here? Okay. Oh yeah, that also means Sargeras knew about this place and decided it was totally cool to leave it alive, even though his goal is to burn everything so the Void can't get a hold on anywhere. And you could physically visit the afterlife, which means, by definition, the Void can get a hold out here. Ugh. Anyway, so yeah, you mentioned that there's already been constructed afterlives, in which case you're extremely wrong, and... No, I don't think that makes you Hitler. But, the Emerald Dream is not an afterlife, nor is it, well, it is arguably constructed. That's actually... We still, as of this moment, aren't 100% sure about that. But let's assume it is. It's still not an afterlife. It's a demi-plane, just like the elemental planes. Or, like the Shadowlands. Oh yeah, that's a good question, actually. Where are the dead old gods? There's more than a couple of them. And I know what you're thinking. We've only killed 3. Yeah. How many other old gods have been killed across the cosmos? Anyways, these are the brokers. I don't know why these aren't the ethereals. Like, I actually kind of like the brokers for what they are, but they probably should have just been ethereals. Moving on.
Tell me what you need, my friend. I know our endeavors will prove profitable.
Lore breaking sounds cooler. Nope, these are not ethereals. These are brokers. They're a new, ancient, mostly energy-based race with direct connections to the fabric of reality.
The Arbiter watches over all.
The Lore Breaker. You should become familiar with the Eternal City and how to navigate it. Oh yeah, we gotta talk about how the city sucks. Everything you see here is done in service to the purpose. In this time of chaos and drought, I believe that's the second time they've mentioned that, we must adapt our perspective. It seems we are to serve the purpose in a new way. You mortals are not the only visitors here. Others have come as well. Like you, the brokers are not of Oribos. They are congenial and willing to aid you, usually for a price.
Blessed be her voice.
So, everyone calls this place the airport. I've used that term too. But the biggest sin this place makes is that it's boring. Visually. As I've already kind of pointed out, it is not interesting to look at. Like, you've got drapes, you've got angles, you've got the same 3 colors absolutely frickin' everywhere. There is no variety to it. If you're not paying attention, it's pretty easy to get lost. Not because it's difficult to navigate in the strictest sense, but because everything looks the frickin' same. Then, there's the map. Look at that map. Isn't that a great map? What you may or may not notice is how badly laid out it is in terms of actual navigation. Like, why is there no pathway between this area and this area? Just a random example. No flying here, of course. Why would there be? Some areas, and I swear it's at random, do not allow mounting, even though other areas do.
You honor me.
Inside or out, it doesn't seem to matter, really. Then... Oh god, it really is Shadow Machine. Then there's the fact that it actually has 2 layers. We haven't shown the second layer yet. But, like...
How may I serve?
I've seen worse. But what we have here is a map that is difficult, that is irritating to navigate. And an actual map, which doesn't do a good indicator of it, and it looks boring while you're navigating it. Oh, okay. Thank you. So, bad colors, bad distinction, bad layout, bad movement. Most of it's just a little bad. And I'll acquiesce to that. But you can see how it adds up, especially given you spend a decent chunk of time here. I have never actually used this place as a hub, because this place sucks as a hub. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. The layout of where is what? Take a look at that map right now and tell me where you think anything is. Like, where's the inn, for example, on that map? How about where's the bank? Okay, where's the primary currency vendor? Now, some of these are kind of addictive. Hall of Holding is probably where the bank is. But then we have Hall of Shapes, Enclave, Hall of Curiosities. What? I'm coming up, I swear. No food. No food. No food. Okay, food. And the Idylia. So, for example, the inn, I've actually passed it twice now, is right here in the Idylia. Sylvanas! I think, hang on, let me get outside again so I can remount, because for some reason I can't freaking mount here. Yeah, okay, I was right. So the bank is over in the Hall of Holding. So I was right about that. I believe this is also where the vault was.
Purpose reveals our way.
Yep, there it is, right there. So there you go. That's the only logic to the... By the way, I can't mount in here. That's the best part. Usually, it's pretty easy to tell when you can or can't mount in a town. I know... God, this really is Starfield. Usually, it's easy to tell because you're indoors, and you can't mount indoors. If you go into a house in Stormwind, you don't even try to mount. Why would you? You're in a house. This is the indoors. Let me zoom the camera way out so you can really process. This is the indoors. This is the house of Oribos. And here's the doorway. And now we're outside. Do you see the problem? Now. Is that a house or is that a doorway? The best part is some of them are and some of them aren't. You just kind of get used to it after a while of navigating. Oh. But I have to give one last irritant of this place. This is such a personal, petty complaint, but if you'll forgive me. For the footage for the pre-rolls, what I do is I grab a shot, line it up, hit walk, and I do this. And this is how I gather that footage for the pre-rolls, right? I need roughly 45 seconds of uninterrupted footage for each shot. Do you see the problem that's already happening? How about this problem? Boop. Boop. Here's another one. Wait for it. Boop. Boop. And then we're back down. Real talk. I navigated the whole of this stupid city for about half an hour. If you were paying attention to the pre-roll shot, you probably were weirded out by the Oribos shot I used. That's because this stretch right here, it is this stretch, is the only stretch I could find where I could walk in a straight line without interruptions or bumps for about 45 seconds. This is it. This is Oribos. And boy, isn't that appropriate. Tomorrow, we get to go to Bastion.